all the time doesn't sound like fun. You can do better. Let me show you what a good time looks like. You can do better, so much better. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. I want to be silly, baby, dance the night away. I'll kick my shoes off if I want. Let yourself be free and maybe you will find that there is more to life than being pretty. Honey, let's just face it. You can do better. Let me show you what a good time looks like. You can do better, so much better. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. You can. Baby, let your head down. Be a little wilder. Baby, kick your shoes off. You don't have to hide it. Baby, let your head down. Be a little wilder. Baby, kick your shoes off. Don't hide it. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder.
Lights flash in the dark. I know you're coming back, aiming at my heart. And these things never come from me easily, no. But now I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready, ready. Emotions repeating, though it's been so long. I know what you're thinking, I know. I wanna spend all our time now, for better or worse. I know the past is gone, and now you're all I want. 'Cause I would give it all up, give it all up, give it all up for you. I would give it all up, give it all up, give it all up. I would give it all up, give it all up, give it all up for you. I would give it all up, give it all up, give it all up. I would. You know that I would. Lights flash in the dark. Just close your eyes and we'll be shooting stars. And you know I can't wait for forever no more. Now tell me, are you ready? Are you ready? Ready? Emotions repeating, though it's been so long. I know what you're thinking, I know. I wanna spend all our time now, for better or worse. I know the past is gone, and now you're all I want. 'Cause I would give it all up, give it all up, give it all up for you. I would give it all up, give it all up, give it all up. I would.
doll, I would give it all up. I'd give it all up. Depends on the doll. Really does. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Welcome, one and all. It is Friday. That also means it's another live stream from Shizu-san. So, hopefully everybody had a good week. Hopefully not too stressful. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to today's episode. It is Friday. I am your host, Shizu-san, and my beautiful assistant here is the lovely Y'shtola from Final Fantasy XIV Dolphy Dream. Yeah, I would give it all up. Give it all up for the right doll. Which, at this point in time, I really don't know what that would be, to be honest, because Grail dolls always come and go. There's always a new doll that gets released. There's always a Grail doll that you wish to get released and never got released. But I feel like I'm blessed. A lot of the characters that I really, really wanted have already come out, at least for now. There's always more that you can add to the list, but if there was that one girl I would give it all up for, man, I don't even know what that would be right now. Too many choices. All right, so before we get started for today's stream, hello everybody in chat. Welcome Tempest Strife. Welcome again to another wonderful Friday. Kami Faye from Australia. Welcome Kami Faye. What's up? Kitten Cat Shop. Welcome Kitten Cat. Anna, it's good to see you. PMB Sakura. What's up PMB? Welcome. Kami Faye says, did anyone get any chaos drops the other day? I had to skip out on chaos drops. As stated prior, I have no money left because I spent it on a big family vacation. But yeah, I'm eagerly awaiting what everybody else is getting. I can't believe somebody got an Ellie, Kami. That is crazy. It's beyond you spending money. I mean, you're going to Japan, Tempest. You don't need to spend money now. I mean, you could spend all of it when you get to Japan. Let's see what else is going on over here. Barbie Witch, welcome to the stream. Barbie Witch, hello. I was lucky this time, but won't get it for another week. Ooh, yeah. Shipping to Australia though is pretty rough, I've heard. So good luck with that. It'll come to you eventually, and hopefully safely. I've been trying to decide between limited heads for Dolphy Dream Choice when I'm in Japan. That's usually a good thing to do, in my personal opinion, because, you know, I mean, most of the heads are available. So usually when you take those rare trips to go to Japan, you kind of want to make it worthwhile and get those things that you can't easily get. So yeah, I think trying to get your hands on one of the limited ones, especially a limited D-Cord, because you're not even guaranteed one of those D-Cord heads are going to pop up when you're there. Kitten Cat Shop, welcome. Doll convention coming up. Oh yeah, that's right. You do have a doll convention coming up. Good luck with that one. I hope everything goes well. I hope your workshop goes well. Scruffy looking Nerf herder, welcome to the stream. Corey, what's up? Let's see. You guys are so lucky to get to go to conventions. I mean, you got conventions over there in Australia. I don't know if you guys have doll conventions, but I know you have at least an anime convention that I know of. I wonder, do doll people meet up at that convention? Like, I know it's about anime, but it's just like the way we do it here on the East Coast. We don't really have a doll convention per se, so we kind of just meet up at a local anime con. But, I mean, maybe you have something like that over there, Kami. Tempest is working on freshening up her 160 Momo dolls. Ooh. Barbie Witch, my cat is destroying my Takara Barbies. No kitty. No chaos. Too much money. I mean, listen, if you got to save money for your trip to Texas, I mean, you got to save that, right? Let's see. Adding plastic safe grease to the frame, trying to cut the vinyl better than the default. Ooh. That sounds like a task. It could be messy. Wear gloves. I'd like to rescue a fashion doll or 3 from Japan. That's very easily done, I would think. I mean, you have plenty of mandarakes to go to. There's always Dollyteria, where you can probably salvage a rare doll. Trying to think of the other places that you could go to. I'm sure there's other places. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. Kitten Cat Shop loves my co-host. Yo, isn't she? Isn't she lovely? Isn't she beautiful? Oh no, why is my thing like... There we go. There we go. There's the clap. I was like, why isn't it working? Okay. Magical Girl Kit Kat, welcome to the stream, Kat. How's it going? Hopefully good. Hopefully good for you. Ben Benjamin, welcome to the stream, Ben. What's up? Oh, David Keynes, welcome. Good day from Australia. Oh, you're on Australia too. See, I don't think I ever knew where you were, David, but you're in Australia. Awesome. Do you have doll meetups in Australia, David? Because that is the topic of the day today. Becca says, I don't know if I like the D-Cord ones, the limited heads. I mean, it really depends. 11 is my favorite. I think the other one that's limited for D-Cord is 17 or 18. And that one nowadays is kind of like whatever, because all the heads that proceeded afterwards kind of like follow suit with what 7 and 18 did. But still good head. I think it's still good head. PNB Sakura says, we'll be flying out in the morning to a doll meetup in Ohio, so I will not be for the full stream. That's okay, PNB. Have safe travels. What doll meetup are you going to? Sounds like fun. Barwood says, hello, Cat and Ben, and PNB Sakura. Hello, FF Cat Doll. Oh, you mean Ishtola? Yeah. Ishtola's here to play. Okay, so I think I caught up with everybody that's in chat. So today's episode of Beyond the Doll, episode 42, we are going to be talking about doll meetups today, because it seems to be the hot topic right now, especially with, people going to anime cons, doing doll panels, doing doll meetups. And I'm not just talking about myself. There's other people out there that do this as well at various conventions, like, when we do it at Anime NYC or at Otakon, Anime Boston. There's Doll North, there's Dallas Doll Con, there's Anime Expo, there's the PNWBJD, there's Dallas Doll Con. There's a lot of conventions out there, and a lot of people meet up, whether it's a doll convention or not a doll convention, as long as there's like a group of people that want to meet up and do something fun. And one of the questions that we always get is, I'd like to meet more doll people. Where is everybody? I want to meet up. And I've said it a bunch of times that there are groups out there that you can find in order to have doll meetups. But a lot of those groups, they come and go, unfortunately. And I think one of the biggest reasons why the groups come and go is because as an event organizer, even if it's a small doll meetup, let's not even talk about a convention, let's not talk about money or anything like that involved, just like a meetup, whether it's at a park, at a restaurant, whatever, it still takes time to organize, especially the advertising, getting things together, trying to see if the event that you're holding or the meetup you're holding has a nice theme. Maybe that comes with some money. Maybe you want to do a bigger one and, go out to eat. Maybe not everybody wants to go to the same restaurant or eat the same kind of food or whatnot. So there's a lot of things that go into planning like these doll meets. And the reason why these meetups like fail most of the time is because the organizer or organizers put in a lot of effort into it and then nobody shows. And because nobody shows, they're not going to keep doing it. It's really hard. Like, try setting up an event and then you're the only one there. And then it feels kind of awkward if you're the only one there and like one person shows up, especially if it's a person that's new to the hobby, they don't know anybody, and it's just you and that one person. It's great one-on-one meetup content for learning things like that, but it also makes it a very unique situation for both individuals, because, the organizer's sitting there like, well, at least I got somebody, let's try to make this work. And then the other person is kind of like, is a little awkward. It's just two people. I was kind of hoping to meet more. So a lot of group meetups kind of rise and fall, and they don't really stick around for a while, unless it's something that just so happens to have that magic something, whether it's charisma, whether it's effort, whether it's the venue, whether it's the day or time, which is a big deal also because not everybody's available the same times and days. Or it's just dumb luck. You could be an organizer that just so happened to organize something at the right time when a lot of people in your area just so happen to be available and want to go, and then they have a good time, and then word of mouth spreads and it continues to grow. So, I hear a lot of people asking for, doll meetups, where can I meet more people? And the easiest thing is on the internet, right? Because we all have access to it. We can all look at it at any time of the day. Doesn't matter when it is, because you could just look at a post from 2 days ago or a couple hours ago. But, people want to meet up in person. It was what I noticed, is that as shy as we can be, or outgoing as we can be, we are human beings at the end, and human beings like human interactions. And as awesome as the internet is for a great outreach tool to meet people and talk to people, like I've met so many people around the world that I've never met in person and I've always talked to on the internet, and I consider them my friends, but nothing replaces that face-to-face interaction or that contact where you get to just hang out and just openly talk about things and just have a good time. And I think that's what a lot of us doll people in the community want. But getting to doll meets and knowing what to do at a doll meet or meeting people at a doll meet can be very confusing for newcomers and new people. It could be a daunting task as well if you're not used to going out and socializing too much, but you really crave that, person to person contact. And, I mean that in the most sincerest of ways, like not like, any weird or shady way, just really like people just want to, hang out with each other and get that social interaction face to face. It's very different interaction than doing an interaction on the internet. It's very different. But yeah, so we're going to talk about some of that today. I'm going to give you a couple examples of doll groups that exist and the meetups that they have from personal knowledge and from word of mouth knowledge that I've heard from other people, because obviously I can't go to every single doll meet, especially ones that are very far from me. But also like that first doll meet jitters, like what you can do to kind of like break the ice or kind of get over it, or whatever it is that you need to like keep moving forward. And obviously I'm not going to have all the answers to that, but we can workshop this together today in today's episode. Okay, so let's see. Kami Faye says they have Supernova in Brisbane. I think we probably could do a meetup there. Never really thought about it. Have had meetups at my parents' house previously. That works too. If you're comfortable hosting people at your own house, that also works. PNB says going to Tri-State Doll Meetup in Bowling Green, Ohio. A friend twisted my arm to go. That's sometimes you need that friend. Sometimes you need that friend. We all have a friend like that, and we don't thank them enough because they always introduce us to amazing, cool things that we never would have otherwise have done. And sometimes they introduce us to things that we will just never do again. But it's always good to have that friend. Hot topic is the way that we rhyme. Kat says, saving our funds for Japan in October, end of October into November. I'm either going to buy blank heads and DD to bring home, but I'm holding no hope out for a tan or tawny doll for resale. Tan will be very difficult because tan only releases in summer and spring for Dolphy Dream. They do, however, randomly pop up in the D-Cord line. So if you go to build your own custom doll in Japan in fall, winter, they won't have any tan available. But they may have some laying around, and then that's when they come out in D-Cord. So when you do get to Japan and you go to the Volk store, it's always that front table right when you enter. There's going to be a bunch of D-Cords there. See if you can find yourself a tan girl. Let's see. Japan is worth it. I loved in April. If you have a Dolphy Dream, take pics in their dioramas. It was cool to do that. Yeah, that was fun. The dioramas is cool, especially if you get to take pictures with your doll or Mr. Shigeta. Plus, if you're paying for it, do it, break and Plus, if you're paying for it, do you break even, etc. I mean, in some sense, financially, probably not, but emotionally, yes. Barry says, I used to host meetups at my condo in a crappy, unsafe suburb of Boston and got a good turnout. It was by public transport, had parking, was self-financed, and we had a media room in the basement. Nobody messed up my house and people had a good time. The building manager blamed my guests for a mess in the bathroom, so I stopped hosting them. A mess in the bathroom? That's not good. King Cat Chop says, our group gets split. Half won't go into DC, other half won't go into the suburbs. Yeah, that's the tough thing about hosting these doll meetups. So let's say, okay, so let's get into the first topic about doll meetups, is us finding one, right? Like, finding your local doll meetup is pretty much a daunting task. And the reason why I say that is because it's not always as easy as you would think. If you're a lurker in the doll community for quite some time, you may have seen in passing a lot of notices or posts of doll meetups. If you're a lurker, you might have been in a Discord channel where they talk about doll meetups all the time. So that may not be that hard for you. But if you, let's say, just discovered these dolls, whether it's from a random YouTube video or a random search on the internet like me, finding a good group to go to, and not even just a good group, just any group to go to, can be daunting because sometimes it's blocked behind a special Discord group, maybe a Facebook group that you have to apply to get into, maybe a forums that you have to apply to get into and create an account. And sometimes those things are not very easy. Some of them are as easy as apply and you're accepted. Some of them actually have quizzes like, what does BJD stand for? Or give me an example of a doll, or this or that, or this or that. And most of the time, those questions are fairly easy for anyone that's interested in the hobby to answer and get right. And sometimes not so much. So if you're looking for a good doll group, my suggestion for you right now, at least, is for Facebook. Discord is another great resource. The only problem is that I can't really attest to how easy or hard it is to find groups via Discord because I don't use Discord. I use it with my friends personally when we play video games as just like a voice chat, but I've never actually used it as a social media tool to meet and greet people and things like that. So that part I'm still trying to get my hands on and learn. I know I've said it years ago and then I kind of dropped out of it after a while, and then I'm trying to get back into it. But I don't want to misspeak and talk about that if I don't really realistically have too much information. But for Facebook groups, it's fairly easy. You type in your state, you type in dolls. So for me, New Jersey dolls or New Jersey BJD. The search functions on Facebook, though, sometimes is hit or miss. Sometimes it'll just give you a BJD group because you'll see a lot of them come up on the list, but it's like a BJD group that could be anywhere in the United States or in the world, really. So it's hard to find that state specific or county specific or wherever one. We have an ad roll coming in 5 seconds. So I will let it go for a sec and then we'll come back to talking about it. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I guess, because I counted too fast. But yeah, everybody should be back by now. So for instance, if you go and you type in, hold on, I forgot to put chat back up. If you go to Facebook and you type in, let's for the sake of example, me, you type in New Jersey doll groups. You type in New Jersey doll groups and you're going to get some things that pop up. And I kind of want to talk about that now as part of my example list. And one of them, let's get a move on here. I don't know why I did this in an accent. One of them is this. This one's called the Central New Jersey All Ball Jointed Doll Meetup. A good friend of mine, Roger, runs this group. As you can see, there's only 39 members, so it's a very small group of people. We used to meet up once every single month. And we don't do that anymore. And the reason why we don't do this anymore is because the event organizer has been very busy with, personal things. But also, it's a little debilitating because we usually do this meetup, as you can see from the background, at a library, and you have to reserve time for the library. So he usually reserves us about, I think, 3 hours is what it is, and you get a spot in the library, like a room. And if it's just me and Roger there, it's just the two of us just talking. I mean, we could do that anywhere. We could go to a restaurant, we can go to a park and just hang out. But like a lot of the times, it's either just him sitting by himself and nobody shows up, or it's him and me, or it's him, me, and one of our other good friends, like the three of us. The three of us are more like a trio that usually go to the Central New Jersey meetup. Every once in a while, we'll get more than us three. We'll have, I think the most we've ever had is maybe 8 people or 10 people that show up. And it is an everything ball jointed doll group. There's vinyl dolls, there's resin dolls, plastic dolls, all different kinds. But we now only meet up maybe in the spring and summertime. Winters, we don't do anymore. And we usually meet up outdoors, either in a park or there's this nice place by the river that has like tables and chairs that we usually hang out at. But if you want, you can join this, search this up. If you're in the area of New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, it's usually in central New Jersey, as the name implies, where we will meet up. But it's a good group of people. It's just we need more people to kind of make this like a thing, like an actual thing. And it becomes hard sometimes, and it gets it declines morale for the group, because we want to meet more people. And we take time out of our days to just hang out and rent this space. But if nobody shows up, it's kind of not worth it, which is why we've been doing our meetups kind of outside now. But I can understand the fears, right, of going to your first doll meetup or first doll group. So like, let's say you're looking for a doll group, you search Facebook, you find something local in your area, you click on apply, you answer the random questions, or if there's no questions, you just click apply and just wait till you get accepted and things like that. And then let's say you're ready to go to your first doll meetup, and you're like, what do I do? Do I bring 1 doll? Do I bring 2? Do I bring 10? I don't want to be that guy that doesn't bring enough, but I also don't want to be that guy to bring too much. Like, I don't want to be too overbearing or underwhelming. And, honestly, it really doesn't matter. Whether you bring 1 doll or 10 dolls or no dolls, you can even show up to the meet with 0 dolls. People will still want to talk to you because that's the whole point of the meetup. We learn from each other, we exchange ideas, and we just overall talk about our love for the hobby and what we want to see happen or what we were hoping to see happen. Like maybe a collab doll we're looking forward to, or a different body style that we're looking forward to, whether it be, pear-shaped, muscular man, Chimiko, like things like that. It's always a great conversation to have, and you never know what kind of new friends you'll meet. But when you go, I remember it very vividly, my very first doll meetup, and it was with this group for Central New Jersey, all ball, ABJD, all ball jointed doll group meetup. This was my very first meetup meeting here, and I met Roger for the first time, as well as some other individuals, which I don't know if they want me to name their names, so I'm not going to. And it was actually great. Most doll people that you'll meet up with are very loving, very caring, and they're very welcoming to the group, for the most part, right? And we'll talk a little bit about that like later on when we get to all the other groups. But for the most part, everybody really that goes to these doll groups wants to meet more people that loves dolls. And no one's really gonna push you away. No one's really gonna say like, oh, you collect those, get out of here. That doesn't really happen. I'm not saying it never happens, but personally, I've been to quite a number of doll meetups, and I've never seen that happen. There's always the odd ones where it may happen at some point, but like for the most part, I really, most people are very understanding. Most people are very cool, and they just want to talk more doll things. And as you all know, there are a lot of doll collectors out there in the world. but you never really ever run into them in person. So it's very daunting when you finally get that chance and you meet somebody else. You just want to talk and you want to talk and you want to talk, and you may feel like, oh, maybe I'm talking too much. Don't, because the person you're talking to is also in that same predicament. Even if they're a veteran in the hobby, they still want to talk about dolls. We still want to talk about it. That's why we have these meetups. So don't feel scared. I know the initial reaction is to feel scared, especially if you're the type of individual like myself that is shy. And you're like, Shizu-san, you can't be shy. You have a YouTube channel. I am very shy, actually. And the YouTube channel doesn't make me any less shy because I just talk in front of a camera. I'm not in front of a huge crowd of people. I'm not surrounded by random people I don't know. I mean, when you do YouTube, especially if you do live streaming, there could always be random people coming in and out of the stream that you don't know, but you never actually see them. I'm in the comfort of my home. I'm in the comfort of my own personal doll collection. Let's bring Ishtola back in here. And like if I want to really stop, if I don't feel comfortable, I can just hit the stop button and then I'm done streaming. So like, just because I have a YouTube channel doesn't really get rid of the fact that I'm a very shy individual. Now, when I go to doll meetups and I do panels and things like that, I kind of force myself to be more of an extrovert. I'm a introvert pretending to be an extrovert is the best way I can describe myself. And like, so I understand those jitters when you go to a doll meetup and it's your first time, whether it's a first time doll meetup or a first doll meetup for that particular group where you may not know anybody, you always get those jitters. I always get jitters even before I start my live stream. Like, it's just a part of being human to know that you're alive and that you care about what other people think and what other people think about you or what you think about them. Like, you always want to have a good outcome, and that's okay. That's a natural feeling. And I just want to let you guys know, for those that are hesitant to go out, that's not abnormal. That is very much so a normal reaction and a normal feeling. And I think you should embrace it, as hard and difficult as it may be sometimes for you or for others. Like, I think you should at least give yourself the benefit of the doubt. You are stronger than you think you are. And going to these doll meetups and meeting more people will help this community grow, especially your local community to grow. And you never know, your one small doll group of 3 people could eventually become 10 to 20, maybe even host an event or 2 at a time. Those things are always things that could possibly happen. You just gotta, try your best and just be you. Most of the time, everybody is in the same predicament as you are. We just don't show it. We're very good at hiding it. We're all the same when it comes down to it. Let's see. Let me get back into chat for a second because I see a couple people chatting here. It says, "What's the secret handshake?" Anna says, "The secret handshake is a secret, but if you try it, you won't fail." Let's put it that way. I can kind of understand wanting to be exclusive if it's like, I want to find more people interested in the stuff my friends and I like, versus I want as many people as possible to know this hobby. Like the specific laser focused targeted stuff of a specific style or something. But that also comes off as hella exclusive. I'm not in a not awesome way. The club that I technically belong to but never go to is all inclusive, and I like that. That is true, Barbie Witch. There are some people that are like that, or groups, I should say, that are like that. But let me phrase it like this. So instead of in-persons, let's talk about the virtual ones, because I have a specific example I can give on this. When you look up doll groups online or doll forums or whatever, let's take Facebook for an example, because I use that one the most. I'm very old school like that. Like none of the young bucks use Facebook anymore, apparently. But let's just say you use Facebook, right? And you go, oh, Smart Doll Lovers, or Smart Doll and Dolphy Dream Collectors, Dolphy Dream Adoption Tap, Smart Doll Appreciation Society. All these different places have different things. So the Dolphy Dream group is focused on Dolphy Dream, strictly Dolphy Dream. The Dolphy Dream and Smart Doll group, strictly Dolphy Dream and Smart Doll group. The All BJD group is open to anything dolls, right? But here's the thing that I never really understood in some ways, okay? I'm not going to name the name of this group because I think that would be wrong to call them out and throw shade, because it's not really shade. It's more so realistically, I guess you could say, my own fault than the group's fault. But I want to put this up as an example, and maybe people can kind of understand what I mean. So I posted an episode of Beyond the Doll on a random doll group. And that doll group got very mad because a specific doll was in the thumbnail that didn't correlate with the group of the doll. Didn't correlate with the theme of the doll group. So for sake of example, if it was an A-Zone doll group and I had a thumbnail of a Dolphy Dream doll, they essentially got mad because it wasn't an A-Zone doll. That wasn't the case I'm talking about, and that's not the group I'm talking about. I'm just saying that as an example, right? But the thing was, I only used the doll as like an attention eye grabber on my thumbnail for YouTube. I didn't use that doll specifically for that group. It was just for my thumbnail, and it was just to catch attention, right? But the topic itself had nothing to do with a specific doll. I forgot exactly what episode it was. I think it was like an episode about going to doll conventions or something like that, or going or different types of doll stands that you can get, I think was the topic. And so that it didn't really pertain to a specific doll company. It was information that could benefit anyone in the BJD hobby. It wasn't very specific. But this particular group got very mad, to the point where like I almost got expelled from the group because I was not only, I guess, talking about something that wasn't to that group's specific theme of the group, but also because the doll in the picture wasn't also part of the theme of the group, even though the topic had nothing to do with that doll. But that's the kind of thing that you run into when you join a very specific, very narrow group, is that even though your intentions are good and you're talking about something that can benefit any doll group instead of just one particular doll, you still get crap for it. And pardon my French, but that's really what happened. So it can be an exclusivity thing, and it can turn off people when you narrow yourself down so much. But like Barbie Witch said, it can also be a good thing, because if you're looking for only that one specific thing, if you're searching the internet and you're scouring the internet and you just want to find, I don't know, Smart Doll Pair, like anything related to Smart Doll Pair, then maybe you'll join the Smart Doll Pair doll group, I guess. I don't know if that exists. If it doesn't, we probably could make one. But if you wanted that, that's why people really like those groups, because they only want to hear or talk about or see that specific thing. I kind of get that. But I think sometimes not everybody joins multiple groups. Sometimes people only join one group. And when you join a very specific laser focused group, you kind of like cheat yourself out of the opportunity of learning about other things. So, for example, if you join an all ball jointed doll group as a Dolphy Dream owner, and you only collect Dolphy Dreams, maybe you might meet some people in that group that shows you a doll from somewhere else that you've never heard of, like Dollbot or Smart Doll or, A-Zone dolls. And then you're like, I've never seen that before. Is that a new type of Dolphy Dream body? And then you're like, no, it's not. It's actually a different company. This is a company called such and such. And then you learn something new and you gain some new experience. Or you could be part of a broader group, like an all ball jointed doll group, and somebody will be like, yo, check out these new shoes I got from my doll. And you'll be like, oh, wow, that's great. does that fit Smart Doll, even though it's on a Dolphy Dream doll? And then you could say, yes, it does. And now you learn something new. Now you learn that Dolphy Dream shoes of a DD size or an SD13 size will also fit your Smart Doll. And then that could be another resource. So even if you don't like buying Dolphy Dream dolls, maybe the clothing you'll learn will fit your specific doll group. So like, I understand why narrowing it down to a very specific thing can be helpful, but I also think that if you want to broaden your horizons, if you're in the idea of wanting to broaden your horizons, then I think a more generic group like a all ball jointed doll group or doll group of New Jersey kind of thing would be more beneficial, because you'll learn more and you'll grow more as a doll person, I guess you could say. So I think that's something that you need to, I guess, keep in mind when searching for a doll group, because some doll groups can be very specific and then they just don't like you doing things that fall out of that specific zone of topic. And sometimes that can be very difficult for people, myself included, because I like all variations of dolls. That's my personal preference. So when I join groups, I like joining the groups that cater to all different types of dolls, because I just like seeing them all, whether I'm a collector of it or not. I can appreciate the style and the artistry in it. I can appreciate, the persons and and I'd like to learn why they like these dolls or these types of dolls. And then, it might sell me on getting one of those dolls too. So I think it's great to join something like that. That's my personal opinion. Like if you're a Smart Doll only person, I say broaden your horizons. You never know what you'll find out there that you may fall in love with and could add to your collection or to your knowledge or your hobby. Kamiface says, I once took all my dolls and everything they owned to my parents' place for a meetup. It was great. We had lots of dress ups that day and some great pics. That sounds like a good time. Barwish says, that's my issue. I'm terrified to actually go to the club I joined. Part of it is that there is possibly a known to me crazy woman there. Part of it is general anxiety. Yeah, and I get that. That's definitely a legitimate concern. Like if your doll group just so happens to have like that one person in it that you don't particularly get along with, that's a tough call, because you still want to hang out with your other friends or meet new people that are in the hobby, but that one individual just so happens to be there. I think that's on a case-by-case basis. Like for me personally, I would still go because I have other friends I can talk to. I don't necessarily have to talk to that one person. But it doesn't mean I'm going to single them out and not talk to them, because that would be very rude. But I'll go there, I'll say hi to everyone, including that one person, and I'll even talk to that one person. But that's because I'm trying to be the better man, so to speak. You know what I mean? Even though I don't technically get along with that person, I think that, everybody has their own different backgrounds, and maybe that's just how they communicate, or maybe that's a blah, 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 blah. There's all different excuses that you can make up in your head. And I guess I'm more of like the glasses half full kind of guy, that even though someone may not like me, or maybe I don't like them initially, you never know. It might just be like a bad first impression kind of thing. And maybe the more you talk to them or end up seeing them or whatever, you might learn something that changes your mind about them. But that's just me. I know that doesn't really work for everybody. So, you got to kind of, I guess, come to peace with yourself and like what you like and don't like. What if you are that person? What if someone has shoved their doll's donger in your face in the past at a meetup, and now you're like, no, never again? Listen, that happened to me at one meetup. Not the dong thing, but I did have a person be kind of aggressive at a doll meetup, which I'm not going to talk about because I'm not here to throw shade. But I will say there was an individual and an incident that happened. It wasn't a crazy incident. It was just like a small gesture, and it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But I still go to that meetup because, that individual is not always there at every meetup. You know what I mean? And sometimes people just have bad days, and you might catch them on a bad day. So you never know. I try my best not to talk too much. The Doll Dragon. The Doll Dragon, welcome to the stream, Doll Dragon. I try my best not to talk too much, most or cool though. Wait, what? I try my best to not talk too much. Most or cool though. I'm not really sure what you mean by the end of the sentence, but I get what you mean by not trying to talk too much, because maybe you don't know what to say, or maybe you don't know when's a good time to chime in, because that even happens to me till this day. Like when I'm in a big group of people and everybody's talking and there's something I really want to say, and I don't want to be that guy that like over talks over another person, but sometimes I end up doing it without realizing that I'm doing it, and then I feel really bad. But like I know what you're saying. Like maybe sometimes you don't know when to interject, and sometimes that can be hard because, again, everybody at this doll meetup are in it for the same reasons you are. We all just have this pent up love for dolls, and then when we meet another person that loves dolls, we just want to be like blah 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 blah. We just want to keep talking about it because nobody around us in our personal lives are into it, or maybe we don't get much exposure to other doll folks. So then we finally meet them, we just like blah 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 blah. It's just like diarrhea of the mouth of doll info. And I am so guilty of that, of doing that. And I know other people are too, where you just keep talking and talking because you've been holding it in for like a week or a month or whatever. So like sometimes when you're the third person in the group or the off person that's not speaking at the moment, you want to chime in too. And sometimes it's hard to know when that chime in time is. And trust me, like most people know that you want to say something. So just say it. Just say it. And then like if it came on too strong, just be like, my bad. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. You go ahead, or something of that nature. I know that me telling you this now makes it sound so easy. And I acknowledge it's not, because I struggle with it till this day of when to interject and when not to interject, when to say something, when not to say something, because I really want to talk about something, but maybe now is not the right time. So just know that you're not the only person that thinks that way when you're not sure when to say something or not. Everybody goes through it, even the veterans. So don't be afraid to say something. And if you're just that type of person that just likes to keep things cool, there's nothing wrong with that. Not at all. Like, if you just if you're a man or a woman of few words, that's okay. I have some friends that are like that too, where they don't say that much, but the little that they do say ends up being very powerful, so to speak. David Kane says, I've never met another doll collector in real life in the 10 years I have been collecting, other than my brother and his lady, who only started collecting after seeing my collection. That's unfortunate, David, but again, I understand that that's a possibility because, again, not many people like to come out and meet in person for various different reasons. Ads coming in 2 seconds. So I'll give it a second. You know what? I'm going to have a drink of water while the ad's playing. Okay. So, it's sometimes it's very hard, but I think because David, you're in Australia and Kami Faye is in Australia, I think maybe you can go and maybe the two of you can kind of like organize like a doll meetup at the next anime convention, maybe, or maybe at a cafe or something. I think a convention is probably the easiest way to do it, whether it's a doll convention or another convention. It's just a great place to meet in public. And if you're scared or you're shy or whatever, I mean, it has security, right? Like there is security there. So it's not like you're going to a shady alley to meet up with somebody. Like there's security at the convention. And if the doll meetup didn't go so well, you still have the convention to enjoy. So if the doll meetup, there was nobody there, that's kind of a downer, but at least you still have like the convention to go walk around and peruse through and do your thing. Or if you have a doll meetup and you guys hit it off and you like talking, you could go and see the convention together. I just think that conventions are a good way to meet people and do doll meetups, because when worse comes to worse, if it doesn't work out or nobody shows up or something happens, at the very least, your time's not totally wasted, I guess, because you could still go and enjoy the convention itself. But yeah, maybe you could do that Brisbane one. Which one did you say it was, Kami Faye? you guys could probably do something like that in Australia. Let's see. David started his own doll tribe. He did. David has a lot of dolls. Just got DD Aqua. She is number 63, so the tribe is getting out of control. Congratulations on the Aqua. PB Soccer says, nice. How do you like the new body? I want them to release it in semi-white so I can get one for Amelia. Eventually they will, PMB. Eventually we'll get semi-white and tan. Kyle says, holy moly, 63. If we ever go to Tassie, we will have to meet up. As opposed to the Smart Doll Anime North T group, but I'm illustrating it with a bowl of soup. I want to start this group. Listen, you could start a group, Barbie Witch. I think people would go, especially in the Boston area. I believe there's a bunch of doll people up there. The new DDF3 2.0 is great, nicer looking hip and thigh area and poses slightly better like the MDD 2.0. Well, I can't wait to get my hands on a new 2.0 body. You guys are making me excited for one. Kitten Cat Shop says limit your options. In some ways, it's like fandoms in sports. You can like hockey, but the group says you can only cheer for one team. Yeah, sometimes that happens sometimes. There really is no way around that, to be honest. It's just something that happens, and you have to make a decision for yourself if that's the group you want to stick with, kind of thing. Kat says, I only own smart dolls. Well, and the one Blythe that I'm working on. I would like to explore DD, but I haven't found one I really resonate with. So I plan to customize most of the DDs I like are custom. Yeah, I mean, see, the thing with DDs is that a lot of DDs are anime collaborated characters. So if there's no character you really resonate with, it's kind of hard to get into the DD scene. They don't do too many original characters, and when they do have original characters, they're very limited. So you only have one of each doll type, sometimes 2 or 3 in the case of regular Dolphy Dream size. You'll have 2 and 3 of them. I think it's like Mirai and Candy, and I think there's another one that's also there. But then the other dolls you only have like 1 of, except for Dolphy Dream Pretty. I think you have Koron and the other one. I forgot her name. But nobody really buys Pretty, so I But you know what I think, Kat, is that if you can get your hand, and I know it's much harder to do than with smart dolls, but if you can get your hands on some blank Dolphy Dream heads, I'd love to see some custom Dolphy Dream heads that you can make, because your face-ups are amazing. So next time you go to Japan, I think that's something you're going to want to check out, because when you go to the Volks Akihabara store or Osaka store or wherever it is that you go to, they do sell blank heads there. They are hard to come across because they're very limited, mostly because a lot of people buy them to make customs. But there are some available there. Or you can build your own custom doll there and then do your own face up later. You can wipe the face that they have on there and just do your own face up later. I think that would be a really good idea, maybe to dip your toes in for your first Dolphy Dream. Kelly Popular, welcome to the stream, Kelly. Don't have doll friends in real life. I want to go to meetups and such, but never hear about them in my area. I'd not be able to set up anything because I don't know anyone. Also, I'm I think you said autistic. I don't know if that's a typo. But listen, Kelly. So where are you located? Because you could try and see if there's a doll group in your area from Facebook. Like, just go to the Facebook, go to the groups tab, and then try typing in your state first. Do your state and then dolls, or do your state and then BJDs, and see what comes up. Sometimes you'll get lucky and you'll see one there, especially if there's like a major city in your state. You might want to try the major city name. You might get some people that way. But there are doll groups in a lot of different places. And I've been finding a lot of them through Facebook. That is my like bread and butter of finding groups. Either that or word of mouth is another way to do it, which is why we're doing this episode today, because spread some word of mouth about how to find doll groups and some of my examples. So this is the Central New Jersey doll group that you can see on the slide that's here. Kat says, I also don't want to own too many dolls. I got overwhelmed and sold half of my collection and now body share. It doesn't mean I don't like or desire other dolls. I just can't mentally and monetarily. Yeah, that's a problem that we all get into at some point, Kat. I'm already at that issue. The only problem I have with it is that I can't let go of my dolls. They have so much sentimental value. Like, I just can't let them go. I sold one doll way back in the day, and even though I don't regret it now, it was so hard to let that doll go. It was very difficult to let that doll go. I don't know. Maybe it's the collector in me, but it's like I want to sell some of my collection off so that I can afford new dolls and have more space for new dolls because I don't have a lot of space to store them. But at the same time, every time I look at them and I start taking pictures of them so I can post them for sale, it's like, no. And then I put them back in the display case. Kelly says, heads up was nice. Thanks. Wait, I missed that. What heads up for what? Oh, you mean like me telling you about groups? I guess. I don't know. I think I'm reading that way too out of context. Barbie Witch says, bright light, public spaces, lots of people around are good places for a meetup. People are generally nice about dolls. The ones who aren't swear at them. That's what I do. See, here's the thing that I have with that. Public spaces are good places for a doll meetup. The only problem is if you have a group of people, because most doll people are shy, I would say. In my personal opinion, a lot of doll people were shy. When we're around other doll people, we're not shy because we're all in the same hobby. But in general, most of us are shy. And I think doing it in a public space really puts you out there. And especially if it's in a public place that has a lot of foot traffic, a lot of people will stare and look. And if you're not comfortable with people just randomly staring and looking at you, that is the one problem I think that happens with very public meetups, is because then people don't want to go because then they feel weird when other people are staring. I mean, I had that problem when I first started, but now I'm just so used to people staring and saying things at me that it kind of doesn't bother me anymore. It's like a what do they call it? An acquired taste thing. It's kind of like that for me. It's just happened so much that it just doesn't bother me anymore where I am and have my dolls out. But I can understand that, like, if you're new to the hobby and you go to, heads up on ads, you're welcome, Kelly. So when you're new to a hobby, you're just not used to a lot of, especially if you're shy, you're not used to a lot of people staring at you. And that will happen a lot if you do it in a very public area. But, there's strength in numbers, man. Like, if you do it in a very public area and there's like 20 of you, you're not going to feel that staring because, you feel confident with all those people around you, your doll family around you. You all got each other's back. Like, you just get that sense of confidence. You feel better about it. Like, if I do like a doll booth like Geekdom Con on my own, just me at the booth, nobody else, I'd be like a little hesitant. I'd be a little scared because it's just me. But when we do Geekdom Con, it's me, it's Corey, it's Anna, it's Lisa, it's Becca, it's Lindsay, it's John and Sandy from we're such a big group of people. It exudes confidence. Like, we all got each other's backs, and like we become more confident to go out there and talk to people and say, hey, come look at our booth, check out our hobby. Like, you get that strength in numbers feeling kind of thing, and it's always good. So that's why I say I don't knock the public meetings, but I do understand that sometimes people may be hesitant because they're shy. But trust me, you get that strength in numbers feeling. You get that buff, the strength in numbers buff, and it really helps. Jay Louisa says, I actually bring my doll that I made into a character from Bleach into anime conventions. I recently came from one, and a person selling an artist alley was so happy to see a BJD. I get that too, Jay Louisa. When I walk around with my dolls, especially through the artist alley, I get a lot of people like, oh, that's a BJD, or that's a Dolphy Dream, or a smart doll. And even if it's a smart doll and they say that's a Dolphy Dream or vice versa, I don't correct them unless unless I really have a conversation with them. But if it's just in passing by and they're like, oh, nice Dolphy Dream, and I'm just still walking, Like, I don't really say anything. I'm like, thanks. But like, if I have like a face-to-face conversation, like if I stop at their booth and they're like, oh, it's so cute, can I see it, whatever, and I'm like, oh yeah, this one's actually a smart doll, not a Dolphy Dream, or something like that. But like, I get that a lot, especially from the Artist Alley. I even seen I forgot what convention it was, but I was in an Artist Alley where someone else had an Artist Alley booth for pins and things like that, like, and stickers, and they had their own Dolphy Dream on display there, because see, the confidence is out there. People are seeing other people at conventions and they're not scared to bring their dolls with them anymore. So it's working. We're spreading that doll love. It's happening, people. Let's see. Kelly says, I'd love to go to a doll convention, but they seem expensive just to try to meet dolly friends. Yeah, it is expensive, especially if you go to a convention that's far from you, because then there's the driving, the toll, the hotel, the entrance fee. That's true. But there should be a local convention near you. And maybe if you can get a couple people to go, or if somebody's doing a doll meetup at a local convention, that might help. And even if you don't know, the thing is that if you go to any local conventions, you might randomly, just enjoying yourself at the convention, you might randomly see a person walking around with a doll. Don't hesitate to talk to them. Just be like, hey, that's a beautiful doll. By the way, do you know any meetups? And they might, through word of mouth, let you know of a group that you never knew about. Oh, good night, PMB Sakura. Have a safe trip and a safe flight. But that's just some of my experience. I know it can be difficult for some people to do, for a lot of different reasons, but that's what's been working for me, and I hope it helps you maybe at some point. Let's see. Barbara says, I really want to organize a meetup at this hotel in Salem, except it will cost money that I don't have, so it'll have to cost money. Well, you don't have to do it at a hotel, Barbie Witch. I mean, like, again, you could do it at a public space, to get things started, and then if you see that there's interest, then maybe we could get you could get a space afterwards. Kitten Cat says, Kelly, some longer events have open to public days or similar. Some do. Yeah, like I think, actually, thank you, Anna, for mentioning that, because I think the one that you're going to, the convention in a week or two, the Dallas Doll Con, not the Dallas Doll Con, the BJDC Texas one, I believe you told me that the first day is paid and then the second day is free and open to the public. So sometimes there's conventions like that. Kat says, I'm totally going to have a suitcase full of bodies and heads. I hope to get my luggage checked on the way back. It depends, Kat. If you're putting those doll heads and bodies in your checked luggage, they will check it, but you won't be there to see them checking it. But if you put it in your carry-on, you might get some looks on your carry-on. Because when I had my carry-on and I put it through the x-ray machine, they saw like these weird shapes that look like miniature bodies and heads. And then they opened my suitcase just to make sure. And then they saw like the doll statue. And I forgot what the guy said. He said something. And then he showed another guy. And then like one of them said, oh Akihabara, or something like that. It was so funny. But like, what's like, like, it's not a big deal, but I think it's a very funny experience. You will definitely have that if you buy a bunch of stuff. Barbie says, no panels, no guests, just a meetup. Away suitcases nest, Cat, I'm just saying. The away suitcases are nice, but they're really expensive. Aren't they like $500 for the away suitcases? Kamiface says, I sold my Journey alt in milk. I regret it so bad. Yeah, selling dolls is always hard. Kitten Cat Shop says, can't sell dolls. They give you puppy dog eyes and make you feel guilty. That is true. Why is it always Facebook? I just don't like Facebook, and there's too much, I don't know what that means, BE. There's a lot of people that hate Facebook. You're not the only one. I only say Facebook only because I use it a lot, and I don't really use a lot of social media. Discord is another great place to find other doll people and doll meetups. So if you use Discord, you can definitely go there. It's just, I'm not talking about Discord in today's episode because I don't use it a lot. So I don't want to give any misinformation about it and say, hey, do this or do that or go here, because I really don't know how Discord works. So, but I do know from other people that I've spoken to that Discord is a great place to find other like-minded doll people and doll meetups. But for me personally, and for the sake of today's episode, I use Facebook a lot because I'm an old man, and apparently only old men use Facebook nowadays. But that's what I do, and there really isn't. It's hard to find groups on Instagram because Instagram is not really like a forum where you can have back and forth conversations too much. I mean, you could do it in the comment section, but it just hits different. It's not the same as like a Facebook group or a Discord group, I feel. But I understand the reasoning, Kelly. You're not the first person to say that you hate Facebook. There's a lot of people that don't like to use it. It's the same thing with Danny Chu when he does his announcements on X or Twitter. Not everybody uses Twitter. I personally never used Twitter until Danny started using it, and I literally only use it for Danny stuff. But you know, sometimes it's just a necessary evil sometimes. Taking your dolls out to sell them, then you fall in love again. I totally get it. Selling your dolls can be difficult. I don't fall in love again. Then I know what it's meant to be. Like I the doll that I sold, I see it in pictures all the time, and I'm like, oh, I missed that one. Corey was our emotional support extrovert at Thy Geekdom. Yo, Corey's the man. Corey knows how to talk to people. Oh, Tempest, you're fading. Okay, well, we'll switch to your iPad. And if anything, Tempest, you could always watch this later on the VODs. Kelly says, not on topic, but why is there nothing for World Doll Day for events or merch or advertising? To be quite honest with you, Kelly, I didn't know. I didn't know there's a World Doll Day until you mentioned it literally just now. Like, I had no idea that that exists. But now that I know, when is World Doll Day? Let me Google it. World Doll Day. Oops. When is that? The second Saturday in June each year. Wait, that's like, isn't that now? The second Saturday in June. That's tomorrow. That's World Doll Day. I didn't know that. Oh, well, thank you for teaching me something, Kelly. See, even veterans like myself that's been in the hobby, we learn something new every single day. We learn something new. PMV Sakura, good night. I think I said that to you when it was... I'm watching two different chats. There's the chat I'm looking at to catch up on what everybody said, and then there's a chat that's live. So, like, I'm looking at two different chats. Moguri, welcome to the stream, Moguri. Hello, long time no see. I know. Welcome back, Moguri. It's good to see you, man. Or girl, or whatever. I don't know how you identify your gender, but good to see you, Moguri. Let's see. Barbu says it varies depending on the price for away suitcases, and they have lifetime warranties, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, they do. They have the lifetime warranty, which makes them really great. They're super awesome suitcases. I can't afford them. I want one so bad though. They're really nice. Let's see. Tempest says it's fading. I saw that one. Carla says it's tomorrow. Welcome, Carla Newman, to the stream. There is, but it's groups like UFDC. Yes. So UFDC is the United Federation of Doll Collectors, if I'm remembering that correctly. They are I think an international group, aren't they? An international group of doll collectors, or they're a United States group of doll collectors. But things like that, like those big international groups, which mainly started from porcelain doll collecting or old resin doll collecting or just older dolls in general collecting. Those older groups, they usually celebrate those kind of things and have those kind of events. It's not that vinyl doll groups don't do that or couldn't do that. It's just I haven't seen it in the vinyl arena as of yet. But yeah, Anna's right. There are places like UFDC that do it, and I am a part of a UFDC group. I think it's called Forever Friends Doll Family, I think it is. And they do meetups like every month virtually from Zoom. So that might be something that you're interested in. I think it's like called Best Friends Forever Dolls. If you want to look that one up on Facebook, I think that's what it's called. The UFDC website has some events. Yeah, they do. I don't really mention it too much because the UFDC group, they are a collection of, or a conglomerate of collectors that focus on all different kinds of dolls. And currently right now, they are just emerging into the vinyl doll scene. but there really aren't too many of there aren't really too many events that cater to the vinyl doll scene as of yet. There may be in the future as the vinyl dolls is growing and growing with a lot of different people. So it might happen. But as of right now, it's a very small following within that community. But it is growing. We need to show more of that vinyl doll love for it to get expanded into groups such as that. But they are a largely coordinated group, I guess you could say it. And they do many events. So if you're interested in something like that, you might want to check out their website. Let's see. Kitten Cat Shop says Corey calls it Ultimate Fight Doll Club. LOL, they are regional. They are regional? Oh, for some reason I thought they were much bigger than that. I don't know. I mean, I'm a part of the group, but I don't go to many of their events because most of the time their events cater to dolls that I'm not particularly knowledgeable in, nor do I have any particular interest in it at this moment or at this point in time. I'm very much so focused on my vinyl dolls right now and all the different brands that are out there that I'm discovering. But I'm not opposed to any kind of doll. Like I always see all different kinds of new dolls from Anna or from Becca that I'm falling in love with. Like Tiny Fox. Tiny Fox Doll Company is a doll company I'm starting to really fall in love with. I might have to get my own Tiny Fox at some point in time. Thank you for that, Becca. We have the ads coming up in 50 seconds. But yeah, I mean, you always learn things from other people. So I always like to keep my options open whenever it comes to dolls. Kelly says, I learned about World Doll Day last year from the Ex-Canadensis, I think it's pronounced, YouTube, and had to put it on the calendar right away or I'd forget. I carried it over this year. Oh, I didn't even know about that channel. That what do they focus on that channel? I'm very curious. Mugudi says, LOL, I'm she, her. Glad to see you and the rest enjoying dolls still. I unfortunately just sold my Yor recently because I never had a chance to enjoy her myself. Aw. That's okay, though. Like, if you don't bond with a doll, you don't bond with a doll. It's okay. You know, sell it, and then, you know, maybe you'll find another doll in the future that you really like or you bond with. Ad's coming up right now. So while the ad is playing, I'm just going to get another drink of water. Okay, David says, had a 1/4 Tiny Fox and didn't like the hard plastic body, so I gave her away. Yeah, that's something that you have to keep in mind. Not all dolls are going to have the same appeal. So if you really like vinyl, you're not going to like Tiny Fox. But if you like different kinds of things, depending on what it is, you might like it. Like, I like to keep like I said, I like to keep my options open to all different kinds of things. And then I try them. And then if I try them and don't like them, then that's it. I just move on to something else. But I at least get to try them. And just like David Kane says, he tried one and he didn't like it. And that's all part of the game. You got to try it first to say you don't like it. It's the same thing I tell my kids. I'm like, hey, we're going to have like the cherry pie. And like, they're like, cherry pie, I don't know if I'm going to like it. And I'm like, well, you won't know if you like it or not unless you try it. So, you know, that's the thing. You got to keep your eyes open, try different kinds of things. You never know what might suit your fancy. Corey says, coordinate with me on the Tiny Fox so we don't get the same one. Okay, I'll let you know. When I find one that I really want to get, I'll let you know, Corey. Barbie says, that's a good channel. It's this girl in her 20s who freaks out over dolls. Ooh. Freaking out over dolls. I can get behind that. Where's hold on 1 second, people. I need to get a piece of paper. I want to write this down. Canadiensis. Okay, I wrote it down. I'm gonna check it out later, but thank you for that. Let's see. Anna says the larger ones are softer. I think Becca played with it. Her body got stained in a day from her outfit, and the Oxy-10 treatment turned her skin yellow. Ooh, that doesn't sound cool. Moguri says, I realized someone else should have her more, so I had to let her go. I'm looking forward to my Dolk Suiginto. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm butchering that. Coming very soon, though. What? Moguri, you're making me like really curious. Dolk Suiginto. Oh my god, she's gorgeous! Oh, it's a Rosen Maiden character. Oh, she's cute. Let me see. Hold on. How do I make this bigger or smaller? Oh, I can't make it bigger or smaller. Hold on. How do I get a better picture? Oh, here. Okay, so I'll share it with you guys. Hold on, so you guys can see. This one. What'd I do? She's cute. Oh, I can't wait to see pictures. I like her. I can't wait to see pictures of her, Moguri. You need to share. She's very cute. All right. Let's see. Kelly says, mostly playline dolls, but dolls of all kinds. Her personality is great. Plus Godzilla and Pokemon. She gets so excited and enthusiastic about everything. It's so welcoming. There's always people with energy like that is always great to see. All right, so I want to go back to some of my examples. I'm sorry, I'm like all over the place. Tangent King, remember Tangent King. Okay, moving on. Here's another example. This one is another Facebook group. They're called the East Coast Tri-State Area BJD group. Now, these people, they meet up in South New Jersey. So if you're in that Philadelphia area, Delaware area, this might be an easy drive for you. Even if you're even in Maryland, like in the DC area, this might be a 2-hour drive for you. It's in South Jersey, right near Philly. So if you're coming from Philly, it's probably half an hour for you to drive there. But this is a unique group of people. They like all different kinds of dolls you'll see there. They have a good group, probably like 8 or 10 people that show up every month. They have a meeting every single month. I think their next meeting is actually either tomorrow or the next Saturday. I have to check their group listing again. But it is a private group, so you just have to apply. I don't think there was any questions or anything. I think you just applied to be part of this group. But if you want to go to their meetings, they try to do theme meetings, but you don't have to fit the theme. But the great thing about this is like it's a good group of people that meet up every month. They do resin dolls, vinyl dolls. We even have a group of people that show up that do action figures. And there's a gentleman that used to work for a company. I forgot what company it was, but it was one of the big name companies where he did the sculpting for dolls. So he sculpted, I believe, doll faces, as well as he sculpted G.I. Joe figures and He-Man figures or something like that, and Star Trek figures. So he did a lot of sculpt. He's retired now. He's an older gentleman, but he's just a wealth of knowledge because he knows how to sculpt things, with clay and doing it with his hands. And he sculpted for many different companies before. And he shows up, I believe, every month to this doll meet. So if you want to meet somebody like that, he goes to the doll meet as well. So this is a very good doll group. It's a small, close-knit group, but if you want to join some good, welcoming people, all different kinds of dolls there. Even half-scale dolls. They usually bring at least one really big-sized doll there. So if you want to see what like a really larger-sized doll looks like, they do bring those dolls at this group as well. And I think they're like, I have to check the site again. I think their meetup is tomorrow or next Saturday for June. So if you're looking to meet up some doll people and you're in the New Jersey, Delaware, Philly area, you might want to check them out. Now, some other examples of doll groups. If you're out on the West Coast, there is the BJD and Vinyl Dolls Los Angeles group. Now, this is only one of many groups in the Cali area or in the LA area. The reason why I specifically put this one up is because when I was very briefly in Cali for 4 days, there just so happened to be this group's doll meetup during the time I was there. So, I actually went to this doll meetup they had. It was in a park by the lake, and it was a very beautiful area. And they have a very good turnout. I think when I was there was upwards of like 20 people, I think. And they had vendors. Like they had people bring picnic tables, and they were selling like accessories and clothing and things like that. There was another individual that brought dolls that they were selling, like older Volks dolls. Some of them were highly collectible, some older Saber dolls that they were selling. And they were a hodgepodge of like resin and plastic dolls and vinyl dolls there. They one of the members, if I remember correctly, one of the members owns or is starting to do a burger restaurant. And during that meetup, he brought his whole setup to the park and was cooking burgers for everybody for free. Everybody was getting free burgers at this Ball Jointed Doll meetup. And I hear that they do this meetup every single month. There's one. And it's not always in the same place. Sometimes they do it in a cafe. Sometimes they do it in the park. It really depends. Also, the person that runs this group, I met the person that runs the group, like I guess you could say the leader or the moderator or the administrator or whatever of the group. She actually is very, I guess, in tune with the doll scene in California, because they have their own booth at the Japanese festival in LA. So when they have the Japanese festival, they have their own doll booth there. They also do a doll meetup at Anime Expo. And I think this year at Anime Expo, this July, this particular doll group, the person that runs this, is hosting a doll panel at Anime Expo. I think it's called Name This Anime Doll, or Have You Seen This Anime Doll, I think is the name of the panel at Anime Expo this year, which is a big deal. Like, getting a panel at Anime Expo is very difficult. And the fact that they were able to get a doll panel at AX is very impressive. They also did a doll panel at San Diego Comic-Con as well. So this doll group is a very well-known big doll group. So if you're in the West Coast LA area and you want to meet some good people, definitely go and check out this group and join their Facebook group. They are an amazing group of people. And like I said, like, it's all variations of dolls. It's not just Volks. It's not just Smart Doll. It's all different kinds of dolls. And every month they have an event. It makes me very jealous. Like, what they have here is what I want here on the East Coast. And I remember talking to the person that runs this group, and it was a very awesome conversation. And she gave me a lot of good tips on how to get a doll group started, what to look for, how to advertise it, and things like that. So we're trying to do the same thing here on the East Coast. We're slow going, but we're trying, and it's all thanks to meeting with these lovely people at the BJD and Vinyl Dolls in Los Angeles. So if you ever go out to LA for travel, for vacation, or if you live in that area, try and see if you can go to one of these doll meetups listed in their group, because they are an amazing group of people. I don't know if any of them are watching in chat or watching this later, but you should definitely check them out. If you're in the West Coast, this is like one of the best experiences I had going to a doll meetup. Very cool. But again, they're not the only ones. There are other doll groups in the West Coast. I'm only telling you about this one because this is the one that actually went to a meetup, and I found them on Facebook. That's how I found them. So like I said, if you're looking for a group in your area, Facebook might be a good way to find it in your area. Because I've never been to Cali before, and I just searched up California doll groups and I found them, and it just so happens they were having a meetup that same time I was in Cali. So yeah, it's a definitely a cool place to check out. Let's see. Moguri says, yeah, she's really beautiful, and I'm a fan of Rose and Maiden already. I had to fight for her pre-order last year. Oof. You had to fight for her pre-order? Was it a click war type of thing? Because those are always rough. Barbie Witch says, my club meets tomorrow at the library, and now I'm actually thinking of going. You should go! Let's see. Moguri says, I'm part of the BJD LA group, actually. Oh, you're part of it? Too bad I was busy on the day of that picnic, so I couldn't meet you. Oh, Moguri. Okay, so we do have someone from this group. So Moguri in chat knows what this group is like. Yeah, I was at the one. It was the picnic at the end of August. It was at the park where they had like burgers and everything. It was really cool. A really nice group of people. Our very own Moguri in chat is a member of the BJD Vinyl No Dolls Los Angeles. It's a great group of people. Moguri, are you going to be part of the panel that's going to AX this year? Because I'm so curious how that panel's going to be. I was hoping somebody could like videotape it so I could see it. Barbie says, this sounds amazing. I want to go to just this panel. Kitten Cat Sop says, jelly, green with envy. Yeah, I know, me too. Barbie says, I hope someone records that panel and puts it online. I hope so too, because I'd love to see it. Moguri says, at the Barbie Witch, I can ask one of the members if they will record the panel. I'm most likely someone will, but since it's a big event for our niche hobby. Yeah, this is a big deal for our hobby to get it at Anime Expo, because for those of you that are watching internationally and you may not know, when it comes to anime conventions, Anime Expo is the biggest one in the United States. Out of all the anime conventions that run in the United States, currently Anime Expo is the biggest one, where all the major companies go to peddle their wares, where all the new announcements for new animes come. It always starts at AX. Now, Anime NYC on the other coast is smaller, but every year it's growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And I don't know, it might really be competing for the biggest anime convention in the US. But as of right now, the title still goes to Anime Expo. So to have a ball jointed doll panel at an expo so big is a really big deal for our community. Very big deal. The biggest convention I presented at the East Coast would be Otakon, and that is the second. No, I shouldn't say second. I want to say it is the number one biggest convention on the East Coast. The reason why I hesitated is because Anime NYC has grown so big, it's really starting to compete with the bigwigs. So, you know, it used to be Otakon was the biggest one in Washington, D.C. And then the second biggest anime convention would be Anime Boston. And then after that would be a bunch of different conventions spread throughout. But Anime NYC has gotten so large that I think it's starting to creep up on Otakon. It's not bigger than Otakon yet, because Otakon has 7 panel rooms and 2 main stages and a concert room, as well as an extra large vendor room, an extra large artist alley. And right now, Anime NYC only has 1 main stage and I think 2 or 3 panel rooms. So they're not as big yet, but they are the equivalent to Anime Expo on the East. They're not as big, but they are kind of like the same. But again, this BJD and Vinyl Dolls in Los Angeles, it's a very big deal that they've been able to do San Diego Comic-Con doll panels and now AX. So, you know, big ups to them. Congratulations. Where's my, I can't see because your stole is in the way. Where's my button? Oh, it's not working. My button's not working. I don't know how to get to this. Oh, wait, no, it's working. I'm sorry. It is working. Can't hear those claps. Sorry. It is working. I forgot my headphones turned off, so I heard nothing. Sorry. I probably like spammed everybody's ears right now. That's my bad. Let's see. I used to do anime doll panels at the cons I went to, but this was like 20 years ago. Did you used to do them at Boston? I'm curious. I might be too busy to be a part of it since I will be at AX with my non-doll owner friends too. Oh, that's okay. I was just curious if you were a part of it. There's so much more to talk about now. There really is. Kitten Cat Shop says Otakon's in your backyard. I know. Do you guys even go to Otakon? I don't know. How many times, like, have you been there? I know you've been there last year because we met up there last year. But have you been there like other years? I don't know. Barbie Witch says Anime Boston doll panels never get much attendance though. They get scheduled at awful hours. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Barbie Witch, because I did 2 panels at Anime Boston back in the day, and I got Saturday morning at 9 a.m. where nobody really showed up. And then I had, I think, a Saturday at like 6 p.m. which normally wouldn't really sound like it's a bad time frame, but my panel was the same time as the concert, and it was around dinner time, so people either went out to eat or they went to the concert. So like I didn't have a lot of people show up to that one either. So it kind of sucks. But if we can get like some good prime time, like a Saturday at 1 o'clock or Saturday at 2 or 3, that would be like the best time to have a doll panel. Let's see. Christina Kowal says, biggest hi everyone. Happy to see you all. Welcome to Christina. Welcome to the stream. What's up? Okay, so the BJD Vinyl Doll Group. If you're in the West Coast, this might be the one for you. And now another one is over here, the Carolina Smart Doll Group. Now this one is run with a bunch of people that are pretty well known in the community. I think, oops, wrong button. Sorry. I didn't mean to bleep that. There's a lot of people in the Smart Doll community that are part of this group. There is, I think her name is Malachi Dressel, is one. I think Muneka Pupas is in this group. I think Baldylocks is in this group. Kenneth Jordan is in this group. And if you're a part of a lot of the Smart Doll groups or Dolphy Dream groups, these names might sound familiar to you because they're very big contributors into our Smart Doll community. And they have their own group in South Carolina. And what they did is, I think they piggybacked off of a doll like show or a doll con. I know Anna and Corey could correct me on this because they're the ones that actually told me about this. But they have their own doll booth at one of these cons or shows. And they also do a lot of different meetups in various places. It's not just at the doll booth. But they have like a very big group there that meet up a lot. So this is another thing, like if you're on the East Coast, but you're further south than me, like if you're in that like South Carolina, I guess South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia kind of area, I think is where the closest is. Even like Virginia or Maryland, it's probably not too bad of a drive for you to get to this group. But they are a very big group. And they're pretty well established, I would say. They do a lot of stuff in that group. And if you live in that area, that might be a good place for you to try to meet up some like-minded doll people and to make some new doll friends. Let's see. Anna says the South Carolina group has a meet and event September 21st. We are looking at going. See, I would love to go that, but September 21st, that's the kids are in school. I can't take big trips like that down south because South Carolina would take me probably like a good 8 hours to drive down. If it's just me, it'll be even shorter. But if it's me going with the family, it'll probably take me 8 hours to get down there of a drive. That's a really long drive, and I would need to get a hotel room also. But I do want to meet up with this group at some point in time. I just have to really plan it, and it can't be during the school year because, you know, the kids. Like I have to be here for the kids, and I can't make them miss school for doll meetup. As much as I want to, I can't make them miss school for doll meetup. Let's see. Kelly Popular says, so envious of having OG Mirai in a box. Yeah, these OG Mirais in the clear boxes, these are so cool. But this is not like from their doll meetup. Like they took this picture from a website, the Smart Doll website. Barbie says the kids will be fine. No, school's very important for my kids. Like, okay, tangent time. I was never very good in school. Okay, I'm not what you would call a very well-educated person. Like I am not that kind of person. But I'm very lucky that my kids are very smart and my kids are very good at school, and I don't want to do anything that will jeopardize that because I know how hard it is to be an adult without a degree. Like, because I don't have a college degree, and it's very difficult for me to find good jobs and good paying jobs. And I'm very lucky that I fell into the job I am now, and I'm able to make the money that I make now without a college degree. So my kids are very smart, and I would like it to stay that way. So I don't want to do anything that will impede on their education, and screw that up. They're doing so good, and I couldn't have been more proud of them. They're very, very talented when it comes to academics. They 100% get that from my wife. she is she she has the intelligence gene in our family. I have the collector gene in the family, which is also not a good thing. It makes you use a lot of money. Money that I do not have. Kamife says, I'm a teacher. Dolls are more important. Come on, Kamife. Christina says, if you went with a doll friend to a meet up, you can split the drive 4 hours each to help. That is true, but that is if I'm just going with doll friends. But most of my trips that I take usually are with my family because I try to turn them into miniature family like vacations. So when I'm not doing doll stuff, I spend time with the family. Or after I do doll stuff, the next day I spend time with the family in this new place or new area. So like these doll meets or conventions that I go to is kind of like a mini excuse to have a miniature vacation with the family. Which is why it's such a big deal for me and my own family that we're taking a very big family trip at the end of June, which is why we're not going to have 2 episodes for the last 2 weeks of June because this is our first big family vacation in years. And I'm very excited to show the kids and my wife like a really good time. So it's long overdue for a vacation like this. Ads are coming up in 5 seconds. So make sure you hit that skip button. I'm going to get a drink of water. Okay. Uh, Anna says your kids were awesome. How is Massacre? Massacre is doing okay so far. Massacre is sitting on a shelf, right next to my daughter's bed. So for the time being, Massacre is doing well. And for those of you that have no idea what I'm talking about, my daughter got her very first ball jointed doll. Thanks to Tempest Strife in chat, for letting my daughter adopt a very beautiful doll, and it's her first doll. And for whatever reason, my daughter decided to name the doll Massacre. I don't know why, but her first BJD is named Massacre. It's a very interesting name choice, but I don't know. My daughter has a very strange sense of humor, I guess you could say. Barbara says, see, teacher agrees. They just removed the degree requirement for MA state jobs. Moguri says, I've always been good in school and have a degree, but I know people who are very successful without degrees too. Yeah, people are successful without degrees. I'm not trying to, throw shade on people without degrees because I am one of them. It's just that being somebody, I guess, that doesn't have one, there are a lot of times where I wish I did have one because I feel like it would been beneficial to my current career. But yeah, and I never had good grades growing up. Like I was always a C student. Like I didn't really do very well in school, and to see my kids constantly come home with straight A's, I'm very much so a proud papa. So there are times when my kids get a little spoiled and they get away with things because I'm very proud of what they're able to accomplish. They are very much so beating dad. They are much better off than dad was growing up. So I'm very happy for that. Kamisei says, same, my bro is hugely successful in what he does. Just won an award for it. He didn't finish grade 10. Oh, that's awesome. I don't have a degree and I had a job that requires a degree, preferably a master's. That's great. I currently am in a position that doesn't require a degree, but it's very hard to, I guess, get to the point where I'm at without one. And I'm very lucky I've made it as far as I did. Barbie says they still use my old work at my old job. Humble brag. Hey, you got to take those points when you could get them, Barbie Witch. All right, so then let me see. I just want to make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, okay. So the next part that I want to talk about is just one other thing. So there's one last doll group example that I want to give, and I saved it for last because I wasn't really sure how well this would go when talking about it. Let Let me see. Let me bring it up 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna switch over. So, there's this group on the internet that's called the Den of Angels. If you're not familiar with the Den of Angels, this forum has been around. Gosh, I don't even want to say. Is it wrong of me to say since the dawn of time? This is probably the oldest doll group that is in existence. And obviously, when I say that, they didn't start when vinyl dolls started coming out. This group has been around for a long time. They've been, I don't even know when they began, but they are mainly focused on being a resin doll group. A resin doll group, a plastic doll group like Tonner dolls and things like that. They very much so specialize in those type of things. They do have Volks dolls, but it's Volks resin dolls. They do grandfather in Dolphy Dreams because Dolphy Dreams is a property of Volks and therefore, it is grandfathered in. Now, the reason why I left this for last is because even though this doll group has been around for such a long time, it is known to be a very exclusive, I guess, doll group. And what I mean by that is pretty much anybody can apply to be a member of this doll group. They do have a questionnaire that you need to fill out in order to be accepted. And they do have a lot of rules. One being which that vinyl dolls are not allowed in this group. The only vinyl dolls that can be allowed are Dolphy Dreams because they're grandfathered in. So they do not have a section for A-Zone dolls. They do not have a section for Smart dolls or anything of the like. The reason why I bring this up is because this group has a doll meetup every month in New York City. And if you go to this doll group, because I've been to it quite a number of times, there are a lot of people that attend this group that love vinyl dolls. Like the New York City group meetup has vinyl dolls in it. And they do have Smart dolls in it too. Even though the rules specifically say only Dolphy Dreams, when you go to the doll meetup, you can bring Smart dolls as long as it's accompanied by a Dolphy Dream or a doll that is accepted within that community. It's a touchy and sensitive topic because Den of Angels has earned itself a reputation of kind of being elitist. And I hesitate to say that because I don't want to talk shade upon a group. I don't think it's very nice to do that. So I will say that the people that are in charge of this group have very specific tastes, and they run their group with those tastes in mind. And as long as you adhere to the group rules, you're okay. Like as long as you follow the rules and you don't go you don't color outside the box kind of thing, you're fine. You're not going to have any issues with this group. But if you are a Smart doll collector or any other vinyl doll collector other than Volks, Dolphy Dreams, you might have a difficult time with this group. You might even get expelled from this group. Maybe. I don't know. But I bring this up only because they have a doll meetup in New York City. It is a large group of people that turn out. It's a pretty big turnout. Not like the LA one. It's not as big as the LA one. But for East Coast, reference-wise, it's a pretty big group for the East Coast. The majority of people that show up at these doll meets all pretty much have some sort of resin type of doll or plastic type of doll within their rules. And I am grandfathered in because I bring Dolphy Dreams. And every now and then I bring a Smart doll with me. And they don't mind that. They're like, oh, is that a Smart doll? That's cool. I have one too. So like I said, the group itself has very strict rules. But when you go to the meetup, most of the people that attend the New York City meetup are very open to other dolls. They don't like to advertise that they're open to other dolls for some weird reason. But when you do go to the meetup, they do welcome it. Like you're okay for bringing a Smart doll. as but you have to kind of bring something else that falls within their rules of dolls so that it's kind of like okay, I guess you could say. It's like your ticket in, so to speak. Um but I've never had anybody from that group be really mean to me. Um there are some people that like uh do not resonate with the vinyl doll scene, and they will make that known to you, but they don't tell you, you know, to go away, if that makes any sense. Like they don't turn you away, and they don't tell you to go away, but they do kind of tell you that they're not interested in that type of doll in a nice way ish, if that's a good way of putting it. Like I say it in a very weird way, and I say it like that because these are the people I personally met are not bad people. They just, some of them can be a little strong in their beliefs. Let's just put it that way. But they don't tell you to go away, or they don't kick you out or anything like that, if that makes any sense. Which is why I was very hesitant to put this on the list for today's topic, but I feel like it needed to be there because it is an East Coast doll group, and they do accept Dolphy Dreams and Smart Dolls. You just have to finagle your way in somehow with that. And everybody I personally have met at this doll group in New York City are all very nice people. Even the ones that are very strong-willed, because they didn't say anything mean. They didn't say like, "Oh, that's an ugly doll," or "Don't bring that doll around." They never said anything like that. They just said things like, "I'm not into that type of doll," or "That type of doll doesn't appeal to me. I prefer resin dolls." And there's absolutely nothing wrong with saying that, and that's totally fine. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But they have this reputation of being this elitist type group. And, you know, I have to say, like, by going to some of these meetups, you do kind of get that feeling. But it's not really that much in your face kind of feeling, if that, so to speak. I know it sounds like I'm huffing a whole bunch of copium right now, but like, they're really not. The people that I personally met are not bad people. They're great people, and I had a lot of really good conversations with pretty much all of them. But I don't know if that's me. I don't know, maybe it's just my personality, because I'm very open-minded to hearing out other people and what they like. But you know, other people might not take it the same way that I took it. So it really depends on you as a person. It may not be the group for you, but if you want to try it out, you can. But you do have to be a member of Den of Angels to go there. They will ask you, you know, if you're a member of Den of Angels. The funny thing is that even when they ask you, they don't really do much if you're not. It's kind of weird. Like, for instance, when I first went to this group meetup, I wasn't a member of Den of Angels for my very first meeting. My friend Roger was, and he brought me along as a friend. And then after my first meeting with them, I became a member of Den of Angels. I honestly haven't like gone on the website in a long time, so I don't even know if my account still exists on this forum. But again, if you want to meet up people in New York City, you can try this one, and they might be like a good group for you. Who knows? You know, they like I said, they do have vinyl people or people that love vinyl dolls within this group. So they exist. So this is all I'm saying. Let's see what's going on in chat. You guys are typing a bunch of stuff now. I went back to school at 36 when my kids were seniors. You have time if you ever want to continue education. Yeah, I know. I'm just at a point in my life where I feel like I'm too lazy to go. And that's on me. Cuz it's just like I go to work, I do my doll stuff, and then like I just don't have any energy afterwards. Something has to give. Like if I decide to go back and get my degree, something has to give, and that would have to be this doll hobby for right now, because I don't think I could do both, because I spend a lot of time on this doll stuff outside of work. So something does have to give if I want to go there. Jay Louisa says, "Oh, here we go." Oh my god, you guys already know what I'm talking about. Kelly says Massacre is a great name. Barbie Witch is on fire. Barbie Witch says that's where I organized my meetups. That used to be the community. Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard back in the day that Den of Angels was the place to go for dolls. Kitten Cat Shop says, LOL, DOA is DOA. I never got my email and they won't send another. Forever left standing outside. Aw, that's sad. Barbu says that is also a den of bullies. Hey, let's not throw shade out there. We'll just say that they're very strong-willed. Barbu says the people who run it aren't the same as the ones that ran it when I was on there, but youch. Some people have been waiting over a year to join. Really? People wait over a year to join Den of Angels? I did not know that. I guess I got in easy because I knew people. I remember when I signed up, I was accepted within like a day or two. So I maybe that was just because I met the organizer at the New York City meetup and they knew I was going to apply, I guess. I honestly don't know. But I didn't know that people wait a whole year to join. Ooh, I didn't know that. Barbie Witch says, is this New York meetup the one that's got to do with the New York City doll convention? Okay, Barbie Witch. You are getting way ahead of me, Barbie Witch. We will talk about that in a bit. You're getting ahead of me. Barbie Witch says, I thought Tonner was off limits because it was the filthy American doll. That was the rule back in the day. I'm not exactly sure. I thought I saw a Tonner doll at one of the meetups. Maybe that was like a thing that they just kind of let slide when I saw it there. It might be in the rules. I'm not sure. Barbie Witch says, yeah, they had some rules. They still have some rules. Jay Louisa says, I've been on DOA since 2008 and I barely go up there. And I know they changed some of the ways to get in. I think you need to have someone to invite you to join. Oh, maybe that's how I got in easier because I knew somebody. That might be the reason why. Kitten Cat Shop says, so doll masons. Well, it's like the Freemasons, right? But doll masons, I got you. Barbie says, I was on it when it was a Yahoo group, and then it became a forum. I think I stopped going around 2012 for good. Oh man, 2012 is when I started going. We literally just missed each other, Barbie Witch. I was on it when it was a Yahoo group. Oh no, that got double posted. Kelly says, I really got into the new Tonner dolls in the last year, as bad as Smart dolls. Oh, really? Tonner dolls have some very interesting stuff. Corey says, serious question. What are the benefits of being in DOA that people are waiting a year in spite of their reputation? I don't know, to be honest. But I will say that if you are a hardcore resin person, that might be the reason, because I think that in the resin community, they're still the biggest group out there when speaking of resins specifically. So it might be people are waiting a year to get in there because, I don't know, XYZ reasons. But I can only speculate so much. I honestly don't know why it takes a whole year. Corey got his first Halloween direct from Robert last year. Barwood says you get extra money back on your bottle deposits. Wait, what? What do you mean bottle deposits? There's a bottle thing going on at Den of Angels? And you get a fancy hat and a decal for your car. Oh, I think you're talking about the con. We'll get to that in a bit. Kelly says, I watched those videos and was jelly at the signed in-person doll. I'd love a Tonner's doll group. Isn't there a Tonner's doll group? Like, I don't know because I'm not really a part of that scene, but I want to say there is. I don't know. Maybe Corey and Anna knows because they collect more. They're more into the Tonner scene than I am. They might know. Check out Virtual Doll Convention. Rachel has several Tonner groups. Oh, yeah. See, there you go. There should be a Tonner group. I'm pretty sure a doll brand that big should have a group. It used to be a place that has resources, but you can get questions asked elsewhere. Most of them are broken and can't see the older images anymore. That's the hard thing about having a forum that has been around for so long, is all that internet storage and space. Things get fragmented over time. it's just a mess. But yeah, that can happen with really old forums, and Den of Angels is one of them. I'm a part of a car forum group that's the same way. A lot of the really old stuff is very fragmented or just broken outright. Let's see. So okay, so since since Barbie Witch already alluded to it, we're gonna talk about that next. So the one thing I want to talk about. So that's everything. That's everything that I have for you guys when talking about doll groups for today's episode. Because that is the best advice that I can give you guys from my personal experience. It doesn't mean that that's the only way to do things. Like I said, Facebook groups is my best resource to find other doll people and other doll groups. That's what I like to use. But there's also Discord, which I do not use, but I've heard Discord is a very good resource for doll groups and doll chats and all that other kind of stuff. I really have to jump on this Discord bandwagon. I'm really behind when it comes to Discord stuff. But if you fancy liking Discord better, that might be the best place for you. And if you're catching this later on or just now and you missed out on everything else, watch it later on the VODs. I have some examples of different doll groups in the United States that you could go to. And it's really because I'm an American in the United States and I don't have very much information of doll groups that are in other countries. So I do apologize to my international viewers if you were hoping to find like examples of doll groups in your area. I really don't know of any, outside of the United States. And I even so know very little of some that are in the US. But today's episode is my best advice that I can give you guys when looking for a doll group and what to expect, going to a doll group. Hopefully it was helpful. So this last segment that I want to talk about in today's episode is something that recently came up, something that I am very excited about, and something that I think could be good for the community here on the East Coast of the United States. But there are some question marks that need to be answered. And we'll see what we could talk about in this. But let me change it. So there is a doll convention coming next year in 2025. March 1st and March 2nd of 2025, there is a New York City doll convention. This is their first year. This is their inaugural year. When I saw this post, I was very excited because we don't have a doll convention here on the East Coast, like a doll specific convention. We don't have that here. And I'm very excited that there's going to be one. But there is a lot of questions, like who's running this doll con? I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. There is an about page, but you can see here, these are different dolls that they're using as a display. Do notice that there are no vinyl dolls in this picture, or at the very least, if there are vinyl dolls in this picture, none of them represent Smart Doll or Dolphy Dream. However, I myself and a couple of my well-trusted close friends have been communicating with this con to get some information. Now, I'm not going to tell you guys all the information that we have accumulated because I don't think it would be proper because it's not 100% confirmed, and I don't want to speak ill of a convention that's just trying to get off the ground because I want this convention to work. I want it to be successful. But there are some question marks that do need to be answered that we don't know yet. Like, I don't know specifically who is running this group. It just says it's a doll convention focusing on ball-jointed dolls. Now, there are some whispers that the organizers of this group may be from a very certain doll group or forum, such as Den of Angels. Some of the organizers of this convention might be from there, but we don't really know, and there's no real confirmation on that. So but we did we did learn some things about this convention, that the organizers did say that vinyl dolls are welcome. So if we want to have a vinyl doll panel, such as a smart doll panel or smart doll workshop or a Dolphy Dream panel or Dolphy Dream workshop, A-Zone panel or A-Zone workshop, etc., 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 they are open to that idea and they welcome that idea. So that's a good start. That's a good start. Like, the fact that they are welcoming to vinyl dolls is a very good start. That's good news. So we have an ad coming in 10 seconds. So I will get my drink of water because I feel like I need it from talking so much about this. Okay. So the fact that they are open to the idea of having vinyl dolls there is very, very encouraging, and that's very cool. Some of the concerns I have, though, is that this doll convention, the venue is in Brooklyn. And you can see the picture here. It's a very big, spacious area. This is another picture of the area where the con would be held. Apparently, they have this theater area. So I'm assuming this is the main stage or the panels room where they're going to host panels. Some other places. It looks like it has good lighting. Like you can see from all these windows here, it looks like it has good lighting. So if you want to have doll meetups and take doll pictures, you know, it looks like there's good lighting in there. But the fact that it's in Brooklyn is what I don't like. So Brooklyn is a really beautiful up and coming area. It's not like the Brooklyn of the 80s, which was very different than what it is now. Brooklyn is very trendy right now, and it's got a lot of really cool up and coming stuff that is there. But the problem with Brooklyn, it's not as easily accessible as if it would be in New York City proper, like in Manhattan. Like if this con was in Manhattan, people just need to take the train in to Manhattan and that's it. They're there. Or drive in and they're there. Even if you fly in from another state, you take the train right over into Manhattan. Now, Brooklyn is the same way. You could take the train into Brooklyn. You could drive to Brooklyn. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But Brooklyn is further in and it costs more money to get in there. So it's like, depending on where you come from in the US, like if you're coming from the South or the West, you would have to make your way to Manhattan. And then from Manhattan, you have to get to Brooklyn. And because Brooklyn is not the same as Manhattan, like in Manhattan, you have subway stops almost at every other street. So you can pretty much take the subway and pop out anywhere, or you can pretty much walk to wherever you want to go. Brooklyn, even though it's very trendy and it's the new up and coming spot, there's not as much. It's not as much easily transported areas. Like the subways do not go to all the places in Brooklyn, and I do not know if this venue is easily accessible by subway. That one I don't know because I haven't been to this particular place in Brooklyn. Also, public transportation for buses is not that very easy, especially if you don't live in the city. The bus is not the way to go. I feel like you'd get lost. And because this is a very trendy area, getting a hotel in Brooklyn is very expensive. Doing anything in Brooklyn is very expensive. It's getting to the point where Brooklyn is starting to be more expensive than Manhattan itself. So the location of the venue is not that great. That is one of the things I don't like, especially for me. Like when I go to Anime NYC, I can easily take the train over and just walk to Javits Center and I'm at the convention. It's like a 5-10 minute walk at most. So it's very easy for me to just take the train, get in, and I'm there, and then get home. For Brooklyn, I would have to take the train in, which is an hour ride in by train for me to get into Manhattan. And then from Manhattan to Brooklyn is another 45 minutes by subway, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, because you got to take the N and the R train down, and then, or you could take I think it's the Q train down, or is it the 1 train down? I forget which subway train it was. Take that down, and it takes you into the Brooklyn area, or you could take the ferry from Battery Park into Brooklyn. But then once you get there, you might have to take an Uber to get you from wherever you got dropped off at to wherever this venue is. Again, I don't know if there's a subway that drops you off right at this venue because I don't know exactly where in Brooklyn this venue is. So I don't know if there is a subway that actually takes you there. If there is a subway, great. But it's still, getting to Brooklyn is another half an hour to 45 minutes from Manhattan itself. So it would take me essentially almost 3 hours travel time to get there and 3 hours travel time to get back home, which means I would need to have a hotel room because that's way too long of a travel. Getting a hotel room in Brooklyn is very, very, very expensive. It's not cheap. And if you do find a cheap hotel in Brooklyn, it's in the area of Brooklyn that still has not been gentrified, let's just say. And it's a very rough area of Brooklyn that you probably don't want to get a hotel room in. So that's my big beef with the venue. I don't care how small the venue is. I'm just happy that there is a convention. But for me personally, getting to the venue is tough. And I think for people coming out from outside New York City, getting to this venue is not going to be easy. So I think that is one bad thing about it. Another bad thing about this venue space is that my understanding is that it is a small space. It's not large. Like it's large enough to have an event, but it's not large enough to have a big event, which means that it's capped at a certain amount of people that you can have. And it would be very disappointing and very discouraging if you spent all this money to go to an event that you can't get into because the fire code says they're at maximum and you cannot get in. Now, it may also be that they only sell enough tickets to reach the maximum. So for sake of example, if the venue can only hold 300 people, then I would assume that the venue can only sell that many tickets. But again, if the venue holds 300 people, you got to think of staff, security staff, janitorial staff. Let's say that's 50 people that takes up that spot. Then you can only sell 250 tickets. And for a very first con, that might be okay because you don't know how many dull people are going to come out. So that might actually be okay. But another problem is that if you have vendors going here, a vendor, to my understanding, has to pay a certain amount of money to have a table space for the event. Let's say for the sake of example, it's $100 for a table or $500 for a table or whatever the amount is. I'm sure it's listed on the website. I just don't feel like going through it. But you pay that amount, right? If there's only 250 tickets sold, that's only 250 possible buyers for you to make a sale. And if you're selling things like stickers or keychains or whatever, that's very small amount, like $5 sales or $10 sales, you're going to have to sell a lot to just break even for the booth. So it's not very enticing for sellers. And you have to also remember too, the vendors that attend this event, if you're coming from out of state, they have to drive there, which is another fee that they have to pay, tolls that they have to pay, hotel that they have to pay, parking that they have to pay, and then they have to pay for the table space that they're renting at the venue. All in all, they might be spending $1,000 in total to be a vendor at this con. And if the only thing you sell is like little things, like maybe eyes, like eye chips or keychains or stickers or art pieces, you may not sell enough. This would be a loss for you if you are a vendor at this con. Because again, even if the table's $100 at maximum, which is pretty cheap for a vendor table, but let's just say that as example, your hotel for 2 days or 3 days, because 3 days you have to set up, right? So you got to set up the day before. So 3 days in a hotel in Brooklyn is going to be close to $1,000 already. The con's not going to pay for your hotel fee. So really the only vendors you can really get that will attend this event that is going to end up coming away with a profit are vendors that live in the New York City area. That's probably the best bet for them. And then if you're coming from out of state to be a vendor here, it is more than likely that you're going to make a loss on your sales. Because It's not like you're vending at Anime Expo or Anime NYC that literally gets 3,000 to 6,000 people in attendance. That's 3,000 to 6,000 people of possible customers. Even if you only get 1,000 of those people, or only 500 of those people, or 200 of those people to buy, you might come out okay. But if you have a maximum of 200 people that are allowed to attend this event, that's not many sales that you could possibly get. So it doesn't look good from a vendor standpoint. And if it doesn't look good for a vendor standpoint, I don't know what you can really get out of this con other than panels and workshop and meeting like-minded people. Sales-wise, I don't know how it will go. But again, this is all speculation. I really want this con to succeed. I really want there to be an East Coast doll con. I want this to succeed so bad. But being a person like myself that wants to start my own doll con with my group of friends, because I cannot do this alone, we've been trying to figure out how to do this, how to put this together, how much it's going to cost. Like we're spitballing our own ideas here, and then along comes this con that is actually doing it, whereas we're just in the planning stages of it. They're actually doing it, and we're looking at this con through a lens of what are they doing that we're not, or what can we learn from this group if we want to do our own doll event, right? So I'm just looking at this event from a critical eye. So if it sounds like I'm bagging on this event, or if I'm saying this event is bad, don't go to it, that is not the case. I want this to succeed. It's just there's a lot of concerns. There's a lot of concerns. And Kit and Cat Shop has voiced their concerns in chat. You can see it in chat. There's just a lot of concerns about this con from a venue standpoint and a vendor standpoint, even an attendee standpoint. Like, I hope that I'll be able to do panels at this convention. I would love to do a panel at this convention and meet like-minded doll people and like talk about the stuff I always talk about in a panel. But I just don't know how it's going to be. I will definitely be attending this, whether I'm a panelist or not, just because I just want to see it. I want to see how it goes. I want to see what happens. I want to meet the people that run it. I want to meet other like-minded doll people at this event. So I am definitely going to go to this convention. I just looking at it on the surface, just reading what's available on the website, it's hard. It's hard to see whether or not this will succeed. And obviously the best thing that we can do to make this con succeed is to attend. That's the best thing that we can do as people that are not part of the convention. Like is just attend. Show that there is interest in this event. We need to come out in droves. The other thing I'm worried about is if there's a maximum limit on how many people that there can be, there might be people that may not even be able to go because tickets might actually sell out. Like, because that would be pretty dirtbaggy of them to do if the venue can only hold, let's say, 500 people, but they sold 2,000 tickets. So it's like, if only 500 people can go in, that's like 1,000, 500 people just waiting outside. That would be very bad. So with that understanding, I'm assuming that they're only going to sell tickets that they can fit the maximum number of people in this event, which means that because it's a small place, a lot of people, if everyone's really excited to attend this might sell out fast. But that's also a way that you can show your support, is by buying the tickets and going to this event, doing panels at this event, and being a vendor at this event. But there are downsides that you have to take into consideration. Like, not you as an attendee, but a lot of vendors are going to have to look at this convention with a keen eye, because most of these vendors, their livelihood depends on it. Like, this is their main job. And the ones that do it as a hobby or as like a side gig, this might not be worth it for them in the long run. So I really don't know what to expect from this con. I'm just spitballing ideas here. But, as much as it may sound like I'm putting down this con, I really am not. I want this to succeed very badly. Like, I want this to succeed and grow very badly. I just have a lot of questions is really all that is. what would be really cool is that somebody that's a part of the group that runs this event, if you're watching this, I would love to have you as a guest on my show where you can talk about this event to the viewers. I would love that. So if any of you are watching this, reach out to me and I will give you a space to voice your convention and advertise for free, obviously. Like, I don't get paid for doing this. I don't charge anyone for being on my show. This is a free thing. And I'm not sponsored by this event, obviously, but I'm giving it a lot of free publicity on my channel. Free marketing. This is free advertising, people. Go to the New York Doll Convention. But we don't know. It's too early to tell. They literally announced this, like, what, 2 weeks ago? They announced this right after Thy Geekdom Con. So it was like 2 weeks ago, I think, they announced this. So this is very, very, very new announcement. And maybe they just didn't have time to update this website page as of yet. So we'll see. There'll probably be more information as time goes by. Oh, so look, they even have a map. Okay, so here's the map, right? Can I move the map? Oh, I can't move it. Okay, so here's where the event is, where this big red dot is. If you're not familiar with the New York area, I'll try to make this as simple as I can. Right over here, on this side of the map, okay, where this big large gray line is here, in this area, because I can't tell because the map is so damn, like, small, but basically right here in this area is where the train station is. All major trains come in through the hub here from out of state. They all come here. This is Newark Penn Station. In order to get to this event, you have to go all the way here, which means that you would have to take one of the subway trains that go across, which is not the end of the R. The ones that go across is like the one that'll take you to Grand Central. There's like, I think the B train, I think the A train, something like that will take you across. I honestly don't remember because I normally go north and south. I don't normally go east and west with trains, but you would have to take one that goes across and you have to go all the way over here. Or you could take the ferry from here and take the ferry across to here. And then you would have to find a train that would take you here or an Uber driver that will take you here from here to here. The best ideal case scenario is there's a train that takes you all the way to this area, but I honestly don't know if there is. If there is not, you would need to take an Uber from anywhere along the water. And the reason why I say along the water is because there is a ferry that goes all and up and down this river. And it drops off here, like across. It always zigzags. It drops off one side, then the other side. The one side, then the other side. So you could always get off somewhere around here, and then you would need to take an Uber to get all the way over here, if there is no subway train that takes you to this area. But if you're coming from out of state, you start here, all the way over here. And the map is very much so zoomed out. So this is actually a very far distance to get from here to here. Like, literally taking a subway train to go from this side to this side already will take you about 20 minutes. Maybe. Because you got to remember, the subway train doesn't go straight. It stops at all these different streets. It stops. So it's probably like 20 minutes to get from there to there. And then to get from there to here, because there's stops along the way, it's probably another half an hour to 40 minutes. Probably. So it's not really in an ideal area. But, you know, we got to make it work somehow, I guess, if we want this convention to succeed. Let's see. I'm going to go back and chat for a little bit. A bunch of people were putting stuff. All right. Looks like from Facebook, you guys were just talking about... Okay, so Barbie Witch says that the venue looks neat, but it's in hipster venue near exactly one hotel. It's a wee impractical. There's only one hotel near there, Barbie Witch? See, I'm not that familiar with Brooklyn, so I don't know what's in that area. $75 for the weekend, too. This is better. This better be a stellar program. Yeah, for a very first-time convention, $75 is pretty steep. But... it is Brooklyn, so I mean, these people have to cover the cost of renting this area. So Brooklyn is not a cheap place to hold an event. So you got to factor that into the price. You would expect a lot out of that registration fee. Well, I mean, It's the very first year. It's a small venue. There, you can't really expect too much from it. $100 is for VIP. Yes, and I think VIP people get to go in early, and I think they get a goodie bag, I think, if you go. Okay, I'm opposite as actual thought-wise. Venue says 260 with tables. So $260 to get a vendor table. That's pretty expensive. Well, no. Well, I guess that is par for the core, because if you get a vendor table at like New York Comic Con or Anime NYC, those are around, I think, $800 to $1,000 for a table space. I think. Because a friend of mine got a booth in the vendor hall at New York Comic Con one time, and I believe she said that it cost her $800 for the table, and the table was just one regular picnic type size table. It was a very small table, and it was like $850, I think, for that table. Suffice it to say, it was a very good experience for her, and she enjoyed it, but she never did it again because she operated at a loss. She didn't recover the funds she spent to go to that event. Barbie Witch says, also, does that table come with electricity or is it extra? Electricity is extra, Barbie Witch. Wi-Fi is extra also. Let's see. Kid Cat Shop says they would like to go, but they are concerned. Yeah, there's a lot of concerns, especially from a vendor standpoint. There better be amazing panels and workshops. Well, there'll be amazing panels if I'm there. Not to toot my own horn, but if I can host in a panel, at least you'll know there'll be one amazing panel, right? Right, guys? Come on. Where's my applause? Hold on. There's gonna be one amazing panel. One amazing panel. Let's see. I think they will be finding this out. Yeah, I think it's going to be a trial run basis. The first year is probably going to be really, really rough for this convention. But if they can learn from the first year and then the second year is better, then hey, more power to them. That's what we want. I booked my hotel already. You booked a hotel? I thought you live near. Oh no. You live in the Northeast. That's right. So you do have to drive in or take the train in. Kelly says it's so cool that you want to start your own convention. Well, the only reason why I wanted to start my own convention is because we literally have none here in the Northeast. If this convention takes off, then I won't start my own convention, because starting your own convention is a lot of work. It's a lot of money and it's a lot of responsibility. And me and my small group of, I want to say, very close friends now, we've become very close, we're thinking about starting our own convention and how we could do it. And we're already in the theorizing stage where we're theory crafting basically how we would do this. But we're nowhere near actually executing our own event. But we were talking about planning one, and talking about different ways that we could, ideas of how we would want to do it. But we're not anywhere close to what New York City Doll Convention is doing. So this is a very good learning experience for us. If New York City Doll Convention fails, then we will try to do our own. But again, it's a lot of time, it's a lot of money, and we have to really know that we want to do it before we invest in it, because it's going to soak up a lot of our collective time. There's going to be an ad in 50 seconds, just letting you guys know. Barbie Witch says, I would be delighted to share what I learned. Of course, Barbie, we want to hear. When we get into serious talkings about actually doing an event, we would like to get your opinion on things. Kelly says, do most people stay inside at the cons all day, or do people come and go? Most people stay inside at the cons. They only go outside for eating or taking pictures, but most people stay inside. Do people come and go in a lot? Yeah, sometimes people go in the morning and then leave in the afternoon. Some people don't, skip the morning and only come in the afternoon. It really depends. I'm one of those people that usually stay most of the day, especially because I do panels or working a booth, so I'm usually there all day anyways. Add in 5 seconds, people. Okay. Got to keep this moving along. It's getting late, and I have an 8 a.m. appointment tomorrow morning. So Barbie says it depends on what's around the venue. If there's good program with stuff to do, people stick around. If you have gaps and there's stuff around, people leave. If you're in a desert, people linger. They should have done this in Jersey or Long Island, Connecticut. Make it affordable and adjacent to Metro North or Path. That would have been good. If they did it in Jersey, there's like a lot of places that you could go in North Jersey that's adjacent to New York City that's easily accessible by the PATH train. Corey says that wasn't the cost of the table. The venue says 260 people. Oh, 260 people max? That's not a lot of people. If the venue holds 260 people max, and let's say that staff, cleaning, and security is already 50 people, then that's really only like 200 people. Because that extra 10, let's say give or take, a people or two, we'll leave as buffer room or whatever. But 200 people attending this event is not a lot of people that can be in there. So, I'm not really sure how well this would go with a 200 person maximum. It's very interesting how this would pan out. But again, we're working on the assumption that there's going to be a lot of people like a New York City Comic-Con or an Anime NYC. This is not going to get that many people. And it's not throwing shade on the event. It's just because it's the first year. Nobody knows what it's going to be like. Not many people want to risk coming out to an event that might be garbage. So there may just be only 100 people that go. Maybe less. Who knows? I honestly don't know. This is definitely going to be a learning experience for this convention. The first year is always the worst. It's just like the first guy through the wall is the one that gets bloodied. That's just how it is. If you're going to be the first to do it, it's always going to be rough. But you can't let that keep you down, or else it'll never grow. So it really depends how this first year goes and how they handle the second year and whether or not this convention will actually succeed or fail. Barbie Witch says, let people have money to spend on vendors and they can have money for guests. Nobody's going to remember the beautiful lighting. They'll remember the good times they had. That is very true. I want to see it succeed so I don't have to run my own either. Yeah, exactly. as really cool and awesome it would be for me to have my own con with my group of friends, for us as a group to put together our own con, that would be so cool. But honestly, excuse me, out of me and my small group of friends, I don't know if collectively we all have enough time to realistically organize this or the capital to fund this. So again, it's a pipe dream that I hope happens. I really do hope happens, maybe. But if I don't have to do it, and New York City DollCon convention becomes an actual thing, a yearly thing, I am more than happy to go to somebody else's event. If they can make this last and they could pull it off, I would love it. I would go every year. But we'll see. I mean, Brooklyn, where this is at in Brooklyn, this is... travel wise for me, this is going to be rough, and I don't know how it's going to be for other people coming from outside of New York City. We'll just have to wait and see. We have to just see what happens in the first year. Let's see, vendor info. If you want to become a vendor, it's $250 for a table, and the table includes 2 chairs, 2 badges, an electrical outlet, and access to Wi-Fi. Oh, that includes Wi-Fi and electricity. That's not bad. Due to limited vendor space, we're only offering single tables at this time. Okay. That's not too bad, I guess. Programs and schedules. Let's see. Events scheduled to be announced, raffles and prizes, panels and workshops and games to be announced. Everything's to be announced. Yeah, like I said, this website just went up 2 weeks ago, so. Ticket info, 2-day passes are $75. Single days are $50. VIP is $100. VIP gets you the 2-day pass plus 1 hour early entry. And you get a swag bag. Okay. I mean, listen, I want it to succeed. I really do. As much criticism that I'm giving it now, it's just because I'm looking at it at a critical eye from somebody that wants to maybe do their own con at some point. Maybe. But I really hope this con succeeds. I really do. I honestly do. Because we need one. For all the East Coast doll people that are up here, we need a convention like this. Barbie says, I want to see it succeed. If you're like me and don't have a day job, no problem. Expect to do a second job at home when running a con. I guess you could do it that way. Is that $250 with a badge? Yeah, you get 2 badges. So if you have a vendor table, you get 2 badges. But yeah, hopefully this works. I don't know. Hopefully it works. We'll see. We'll see. I'm just, I'm excited. I'm excited. I hope this comes to pass. I really hope that it grows and it becomes successful. Because like I said, we need that here. I think that's something that would be very cool. And, you know what would be really good about this convention? This would be a great place to do meetups. And when doing meetups, it would be a great place to share with other people where your local doll meetup would be. So let's say you get a bunch of Pennsylvania people going to this con and they meet up with each other and they're just like, hey, I'm from Pennsylvania too. Oh, me too. And then you're like, hey, did you know we have a doll group in our local area in Pennsylvania? And like, wow, I didn't know. And it's like, wow, you just met your very new doll group that you can hang out with. Like, there's a lot of cool things that could come out of this. So I don't know. I'm excited for this. I'm hoping that it becomes a real thing. I really do. Now, that being said, that is truly the end of my episode today when it comes to doll stuff. So before I leave you guys for the night, before I do that, one very last thing I want to do is Shizu-san's Anime Corner. I love doing this every time. I love sharing with you guys the new things that I'm watching and what I think is cool. It's just my own little geeky way of sharing my anime love on my own doll channel. So, let's talk about it. I have 2 different animes to show you today. One is anime in name, I guess, but it's not a traditional anime. Anyways, we'll get to that. I'll explain it. And Anna and Corey know what I'm talking about when this picture comes up. But this one. This isn't your traditional anime per se, okay? This is not like a Japanese anime or whatever. This is an American animation, I guess you could say. It's not really a cartoon, because when you think of American cartoons, you think something like, I don't know, like Animaniacs or G.I. Joe or something like that. Something that's like American. This is like the new age American. Things like, I don't know, what could I closely compare this to? Like Boondocks, I guess? Or something like, I don't know what's an equivalent for when it comes to American animations. Like Cyberpunk, the anime, is kind of like this. So essentially what this is called is The Legend of Vox Machina. It's on Amazon. If you have Amazon Prime, you have the ability to watch this show. There are 2 seasons out right now. 2 seasons. It's basically Dungeons and Dragons. For those of you that don't know, I really have been getting into the whole Dungeons and Dragons vibe right now. It's like encompassing a lot of my time right now. It's just researching Dungeons and Dragons and where to play it and what to do and all this other kind of stuff. It sounds so cool. And plus that I played the Baldur's Gate 3 video game, so now I'm really into it because I got a sense of what it's like from that. I've been getting into Critical Role and all that kind of stuff, which does their own Dungeons and Dragons on YouTube. That's what Vox Machina is. It's a Critical Role podcast or vodcast playing Dungeons and Dragons. It got so big and popular that Amazon reached out to them, I guess, or they reached out to Amazon. I don't know how it worked, but basically they did an animation with Amazon. And this show is so cool. It takes their very first campaign 1, which is called Vox Machina, and they took, I don't know, I think it's like 112 episodes or 120 episodes, and each episode is roughly 3 to 4 hours long. So they took all that and shrunk it down into essentially 36 episodes, because I think it's 24 episodes now, and then the last season, season 3, will end the campaign, I think. And so that'll be a total of 36. And then campaign 2, which is called The Mighty 9, is in the works already to be released as an animation. So I'm very excited for that because I just started watching campaign 2. So I'm very excited for that. But Vox Machina is campaign 1. This is definitely not kid friendly. There's a lot of sex. There's a lot of cursing in this animation. So do not watch it near kids. This is not kid friendly at all. But if you like fantasy and you like a little, sexual jokes here and there and cursing, you don't mind cursing, this might be the show for you. I really love this show. It helped me get past a lot of the Vox Machina podcasts because, again, like I said, it's 3 to 4 hours each episode, and there's like 112 episodes or 120 episodes. Watching this animation kind of sums up all of that in one small, nice package. Of course, you miss out on all the other interactions and extra story that was in it, but this is a really good take on it, and I really enjoyed watching this show. So I'm hoping to see more of it, and if you guys like that kind of stuff, give it a try. If you have Amazon Prime already, it doesn't kill you to give it a try. It's not going to cost you anything, just your time. But yeah, I have 2 on today because I know that this might be something that a lot of people are not interested in. So just kind of putting that out there so that you guys know, basically. Next one. This one's an actual anime. This one's called... This is called Chillin' in Another World with Level 2 Super Cheat Powers. Okay, this is a really long... a really silly name, but it's a great show. Again, it's another isekai. I love isekais, but this is another isekai. What makes this one unique or different is that, one, the person getting isekai'd is coming from a fantasy world already. Usually isekais, it takes people from the real world and puts them in a fantasy world most of the time. In this show, the person's getting pulled from one fantasy world into another fantasy world. And in this fantasy world, he's basically treated as a loser and someone that is unimportant, let's say. However, it turns out that he becomes very important, very much so important, and very much so overpowered, as it says super cheat powers in the title. Is very much so a harem, as he's surrounded by many a woman in this show. So if you don't like harems, this might not be for you. But it also likes to play on the idea of making fun of isekais. Like, there's a lot of things in this show that genuinely makes fun of the isekai genre and acknowledges how stupid the isekai genre can be at times. And it kind of shows you that in this show, how ridiculous isekais are. And how stupid a lot of isekais can be. I know I said that already, but I think it really warranted being said twice. But it's good. It's good. I like it. It's not done yet. It is a simulcast, so there's only 7 or 8 episodes out right now, and I think it's a total of 12. So it's not finished yet, but you can get a pretty good idea of what it's like by the first episode or 2 episodes. You get a pretty good idea of what it's about. I think it's really good. Again, I really enjoyed it, and maybe you guys will too. So those are my recommendations for this episode and this week is The Legend of Vox Machina and Chillin' in Another World with Level 2 Super Cheat Powers. Very long drawn out name. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. Yay! That is Shizu-san's Anime Corner. Yay! Okay, And that's the end of today's episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Maybe you did. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you found it informative. Who knows? I hope you enjoyed it. So let's see. What's one last look at chat? What's going on in chat before we end the night? Anyone have any last words? Let's see. I either want to work the event or be a vendor. That would be interesting. I mean, why not lend your support to a new con? It's cool. I hope you can take videos and stuff for us, whoever goes to the New York City Doll Convention. I will be there. I will take some videos. You can bet on that. Barbie Witch says that won't fly on Den of Angels. Wait, what won't fly on Den of Angels? Like videos? I don't know. I hope so. Passes the DOA purity test. It's a callback, but I don't know what a callback to. Sorry. I don't get that reference, Barbie Witch. My bad. Oh my goodness. All right, so that ends today's episode. This is a long episode, 2 hours and 41 minutes. Wow. I didn't expect it to be that long, but then again, Tangent King. So, again, I hope that you guys found this episode informative. I hope you learned something. And if you didn't learn anything in today's episode, at the very least, I hope you found it entertaining. But that's it for me and today's episode. Next week is going to be the Doll Symposium next Friday. That's going to be the news week. So we're going to cover the news and whatever weird tangents that I go on next week. But that will be the last episode for June. As the next 2 weeks, I will be away on vacation. So, yeah. So next Friday will be the last episode until basically July. And it won't be until the second week of July because the first Friday in July is the 4th of July, and we usually go out for celebrations as a family for 4th of July, so there will be no episode. So it's really 3 weeks. In all honesty, there will be no live stream for 3 weeks. So yeah, I will be gone for a little bit because of vacation and holidays. But I will be back after that, and we'll resume our regularly scheduled programming at that point. But thank you, everybody, for coming for today's episode. As always, I am your host, Shizu-san. And with me today, in today's episode, is the very lovely Ishtola. She's so cute. I haven't taken her out in quite some time, so she got some screen time today, which is very nice. But yes, that's it. Thank you, everybody. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!
You say all the right things when I'm hurting. You always pick me up when I am down. It's like you have a spark that leaves me burning. Yeah, you just have your ways to get me high. You make all my dreams come true. It feels right when I'm around you. We could break up and then make up. I always come back to you. You move me in a way never thought anyone could. You get me high. You're my drug when I am feeling blue. Yeah, it's all you. 'Cause you're the one. Yeah, the one. Yeah, you're the one. Yeah, the one. You touch me in a way that makes me shiver. Sometimes I can't believe that you are